What's up, everyone? Dave Cottingham here with Casey Cooley.
Hello, everybody.
And with us for the episode 4 commentary, Russell Johnson.
What's up, everybody? Thanks for good to be back.
Yes.
Back in the studio.
Yeah.
Fun.
Studio.
Excited?
How are you, man?
I'm great. Yeah, I'm excited about this. Fun.
So for those of you who don't know, Russ has been adding to our ever-growing network and back into reviewing comics.
Yep.
Vader series.
Vader series is very good. Very good. It comes right out of episode 3.
Right.
It starts off right. I mean, it picks up right there and carries on. It's really cool to see Darth Vader. He's still powerful, but he's struggling. He's new in his armor. He's not used to his body, and it's a cool story.
It is, and it's a big topic as we get into this film because we did the Rogue One commentary, which again, we're making these trailers and everything for this in chronological order. Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to think of it as no one's seen this movie.
Right.
And you've only seen 1, 2, 3, Rogue One. You get a glimpse of what Vader's all about. Mm-hmm. And then we have this one, which is A New Hope episode 4, which is obviously the original Star Wars film, the first one that came out in 1977. So we are going to go right ahead and get right into it. We're watching the Blu-rays from 2012. I keep forgetting the year of it, but so if you're following along, just press play. 3, 4, 5, 20th centuries right there. Right here, it should be somewhere down here. Yeah. All right.
There's stuff down here.
All right. So
Rest my elbows on the bar.
we're celebrating the release of episode 8. 130 something days out now.
Yeah.
Oh
my
But
gosh.
yeah.
Eesh.
But this is our journey to Star Wars episode 8. About this though is we're not just gonna sit there and watch the film. We're gonna talk about some big topics going in throughout the film. But so first off, as we start out with every commentary, Russ, take us back. First time you saw this film and your just overall experience.
We're going the Wayback Machine. I was 9 years old when this movie came out, and I saw it in a theater. And when this crawl came up, I was like nothing I'd ever seen before. And it was...
It's Rogue One.
Yeah. Hey.
Yeah. But it was just an experience we had. That's and cool. There was so much hype around the movie, and it was like long lines to get in, and people were so hyped about it. And like being a little kid, I wasn't a huge sci-fi guy. But after I saw this, man, that was that. Oh, yeah, it was.
Now you were where, in Virginia when you saw this, or
yes,
yeah,
because I remember I was in school. We had to do a project, and it talked about you had to write down things about yourself and everything. And one of the things I mentioned was I'd seen Star Wars 4 times in the movie theater, and that was a lot for a little kid. I mean, that's a lot for a kid that age, because my parents didn't go with us; just dropped us off, and we just went in. So. But I'll tell you this: this is what took me back is that this opening shot that we've seen, at the end of Rogue One. But coming up to this shot of when you're in the theater and you're a little kid, you never seen anything like this. You see that, and
there's no strings,
right? And then you see this, and for whatever reason, at 9 years old, this lasted for like 20 minutes to me. Like I never thought it was going to end.
Like Spaceballs.
Yeah, it was huge. It was huge, and when you're sitting there and watching, you're like. Oh my! Like I had never seen anything like that. It was amazing. Yeah. After this movie was over, I walked out and I was like, I knew that I was going to do something. Maybe it's a cliche to say when you're a kid that this movie wanted to make me be a filmmaker, but it absolutely did. I'd never seen anything like it. The opening scene with Vader when he comes in. When you're that age and you've never seen Vader before, ever. I mean, a lot of kids have seen Vader. They see the toys. My kids have seen, they watch this movie too, but they've seen Vader long before he ever came on screen. And when he walks through that door, at that age, he scared the crap out of me. Like I had never been, I was like, oh my gosh, what is that? Oh, what is going on? And when he's doing it was just, it was powerful to me. I was just so... This whole thing here, I was like, "What is going to happen?"
I know, right?
The tension was just, it was cut it with a knife, It was just so, just got like something bad's going to happen.
So that's one of my
So when-
questions with like through Rogue One was the introduction of Vader is technically, like you said, David, if it's the first time you've seen like Rogue One, count it as if that's the first time you've ever seen any Star Wars movie. That you can count that as like a new introduction to Vader.
Correct.
So then I keep thinking like, well, which is it even fair to compare? Which introduction to Vader is, I don't want to say better, but more impactful or
well, I think
scarier,
now
you
it's
say.
obviously Rogue One because I mean you almost, and that was honestly my next topic. Really was the question I wanted to pose was, in your opinion, was it okay that Rogue One literally went right to the scene before this? You know, there was there's no time between Rogue
Right.
One and this.
No,
I mean, there may be.
Right.
We don't know for sure, but it seems like they're pursuing Leia leaving Scarif, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Is that okay? Because if you think about it, it's like, yes, Vader,
Like nothing was more powerful than that image right there.
right?
yeah.
But now you know what he's capable of. You know, it's like, well, why did they even send stormtroopers? Why didn't he just
Yeah.
come in? You know, again, you know, so you have to obviously take that in perspective when, you know, knowing that this 30 years later they did Rogue One, but yeah, see, there's the disc, you know, from the same disc that she's
Yeah.
carrying now. So are you okay with how Rogue One ended so close to this film?
I am, because for me, that scene of Vader, you know, coming in and him just going nuts before this ever happens, for me, well, like it was a new introduction of Vader to me. And again, I've talked about this with people my age who saw the movie in the theaters when it first came out, that, you know, after you've seen all the movies and then you see the prequels and everything, Vader just never seems that evil ever again.
Sure.
You know, so that image will always be powerful, and I think they did a good job
Bringing him back.
it back to that, you know, in Rogue One. So I was fine with it. I thought it was actually
Vader got his groove back.
I thought he did. I thought it was very, very cool that they did that, you know, coming up to for me, anyway, it didn't ruin it for me. I thought it was good.
I mean, that's very vicious and evil right there. You
Like
know,
I say,
it's
when you're 9 years old watching this and you've never seen anything like this, where you're like, oh my gosh, what is happening right now? You know, you just don't see things like that.
I'm amazed how good they made that guy look from the same, you know what I mean?
From Rogue One.
The Rogue One guy looks exactly
Yeah.
like Captain Antilles, the same Antilles.
Yeah, it was good.
But Casey, okay with how close it came?
I thought it was cool, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I mean, even just this is the first time I've seen A New Hope so close to Rogue One, with Rogue One so fresh in my mind. So like, even just with that context, it definitely it's. I mean, it obviously adds so much more weight and story to just that first scene there.
Yeah, and obviously, I think they could have easily ruined it had they, in my opinion, not used a digital Leia.
Yeah.
Like if that was a different actress,
Oh yeah,
Oh.
that would have been bad.
bad, horrible, right?
Yeah,
so they, I thought
Geek
really
moment
good.
for me in Rogue One. I mean, to me, it brought me back to this. You know, when I was a kid. So because you don't see that, everything's changed, everything's different, everything's you know the way it's been done, and you kind of live with it for so long. So to have that moment was cool to me.
I mean, it just so well ties in other areas. Like it used the Leia actual audio
Yes.
clip from this, but also
yeah.
reusing using for the first time unused footage of like Gold Leader, I guess
Red Leader.
Red Leader, right?
Yep.
During the Battle of Scarif.
Absolutely.
Like, clever and just incredible, and even more ties in and solidifies its placement in this story, in this saga.
And actually, this scene here too, when this came out, you know, when Leia just stands up to him immediately, you're like, this guy has just destroyed everything. He's the most menacing character ever. She just walks up and she's like,
Yeah.
punk, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
Yeah.
that made her look even tougher.
Yeah, and see, it means more now too, because even with the TV show with Rebels, you know, because in Rogue One she's not mentioned, right? You just see her at the end,
Right. Mm-hmm.
So you don't know. Technically, you don't know, who she is.
Right.
Yeah, that's
Do you,
first
do you
time
know it's Bale's daughter? I mean, or adopted daughter or whatever. You don't know. So if you watch Rebels, you kind of know it's Leia, right? You know Leia's in Rebels, so you kind of get, and Leia's born of the twins, obviously. So you kind of know, right? But they don't say her name in Rogue One, right? They don't say.
No, they just reference, and Bale says, "I trust her with my life."
I trust
that
her,
love thing.
yeah.
and at the end,
they don't-
Antilles is like,
yeah,
I don't think he says Leia. He doesn't say Your Highness.
No,
He says Your Highness, right?
Yeah.
So there, it's like she's obviously acting like hey, you attacked us. We didn't do anything.
Right.
Totally trying to play it off. Now, how cool would it have been, though? Think about this. How cool would it have been somehow in Rogue One if one of those guys, like Bodhi or even Cassian, like...
Which, obviously only see Leia for that one scene, but the movie ends with an introduction of the new villain and the new hero, essentially.
Right.
Which is so cool. It's a cliffhanger.
That's
It's a
true.
cliffhanger.
You're
It's
right.
like,
Actually,
like,
you're
oh,
right.
this is like, if that's the first time you've ever seen the movie,
Right.
like you at the end you see like, oh my gosh, this Lord Vader guy and this Highness lady, like,
That's very
it's
true.
this-
Yeah, it's very
this
true.
guy clad in black armor and this lady dressed in a white gown, like such an obvious villain and hero, and you're excited. I would think you're excited to see the next installment to
That's
see how they're
right.
going to carry
Yeah.
the next story. So leading into this next movie, you're so pent up and you're so excited to see what happens next.
And that's very true in some part to Tarkin as well.
Yeah.
Because
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
you know now his
Yeah.
backstory of
the
the
threat of the Death Star. It's like
Yeah.
so much leading to this film.
yeah. See, like right now,
You're
when you
watching
sat
it.
here when we all sat here for the first time to watch it, we didn't know anything about the Death Star.
Right.
Now you know it exists.
Yeah, it's out there.
It's out there.
Oh, when's it going to make its next appearance? Because
Only
so,
one reactor.
crazy.
Single reactor ignition, right? I don't
One-
even know how many reactors it is, but
like 2 maybe.
200 maybe.
It's crazy. Just one line in the crawl makes the whole movie, which
Uh-huh.
changes yet this movie, and it's just crazy how that
No,
ripple
it
effect
was-
it
it
just completely changes.
It was phenomenal. So the next thing I wanted to bring up was we haven't kind of got into it solely because a lot of this was obviously shot practically, but now it's been this is the 40th year of Star Wars. 40 years later, in your opinion, of course, improvements were done with special editions and CG, but I mean, we're looking at this Blu-ray. I mean, it's held up. I do hear some of my friends, other friends I know, them introducing to their kids. They're like, "Why do I don't want to watch that old movie?"
Right. Well,
You know,
that's why
it's old now. I mean, that's how old we are.
Exactly. But that's kind of the reason I had my kids, my 2 young boys, watch this one first. So their idea of special effects in movies will grow along. They don't know any better at this point. So they're not
very
like,
true.
oh, it's old movie. But they love this movie. They want to see the one, they don't call it, because they're too young to understand episode 4 or 5. So
Yeah.
they're like, no, what's the one with Kylo
Yeah.
Ren? That's the one I want. Or I want
Yeah.
the one with Jabba in it. That's
Yeah.
what they want to see. Or the Jawas. So
Yeah.
they love the Jawas. So like, which one you want to watch? I know it's the Jawas. But I mean, that kind of effect right there. Yeah, it doesn't look as good as what it is today, but I think it still holds up for the most part.
That's such a good argument for me for a reason to start with the originals, honestly. Because I just I feel like you just have to start with the chronological order because that's just chronological. It just makes sense. It's logical. But no, yeah, absolutely sticking with that because, as you said, they're not used to anything grander than this, than these special effects. But also, like, you just got to think with the marketing that they're doing right now with Star Wars, everything's tied so well to these original films and to these original characters. So it also makes sense to start with this to introduce you to those characters that are yet still hugely popular in the current stories, and it's just so that it carries you through that end. So you could almost go 4, 5, 6, and then the sequel trilogy, and then go all the way back.
I think
to
you
the
got to go
prequels.
Rogue One 4, 5, 6.
That's true.
I almost
There
think
you
you
go.
should
That's
go.
true.
But so that kind of leads into one of the topics I was going to talk about later. But so because of that, you're introducing him in 4. My girls, they kind of, well, my oldest obviously. I'm thinking of how Eliza's going to get into it, but my oldest does already kind of know all the characters. But does the fact that if you watch 1, 2, and 3, are you ruined that who Vader's kids are and you know who that he's their father?
Such a good
right?
psychological experiment.
Yeah, I mean that was always my argument. Again, I go back to the fact that when you see Vader for the first time walking through there and you've never seen him before, it makes him that much more powerful and evil. If you start off with when he's a kid growing up, he just doesn't seem that villainous.
Yeah.
He was like, well, he was turned and he was tricked and he was this, he was that, and it feels less grand as a villain of the main villain of this entire series
Right.
that everyone wants to see. So building up, I like this because he's introduced as a huge bad guy, the worst, and then at the end of the trilogy, he's redeemed. That always makes me like. Then I can go back and watch him as a little kid. I think that's why it was kind of done that way.
Yeah.
Honestly, because again, if you start chronologically, then his impact is not as strong.
Right.
And that goes true. That holds true for anything throughout this story. Even the comic books we're talking about. I'm watching now, like he's just getting used to his armor and he's learning how to fight.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of like it doesn't. You sympathize with him too much. I like him as a villain first, and then let him redeem himself. And obviously that was Lucas's plan with the original trilogy. So that's why I'm always say we need to do that one first. Those 4 first, because you can always go back and watch someone's backstory, because that's really what the prequels are. Rogue One is a direct tie to this. I know the prequels are, but I don't know. I think the ones they're doing now, and even the ones, 7, 8, 9, are still tied more to this than the trilogy, the
That's good.
prequels.
You guys are convincing me to show my
showing in the order
in the original 4.
It's just cool because
I think
you don't see things like if I don't know,
but I think you can make the argument that it's because it's funny because doing these commentaries again and kind of talking through these talking points. 1, 2, and 3 to me, and we've talked about this a lot, Casey, but like 1, 2, and 3, it's actually more about the fall of the Jedi, not just Anakin, but the whole the corruption of Palpatine inside the Republic, the fall of the Jedi, the Clone Wars break. I mean, it's funny because I'm dating this a little bit, but I went to lunch real fast with Jake today from work, and it's funny because I'm teaching him Star Wars the whole time we're driving because he's asking something about I don't even know how he got on topic to be honest, but I explained the whole thing about Darth Bane and the whole history of the Rule of Two, and he's like, "How do you know all this?" So, but anyway, I'm like,
read.
I'm like, who does it? But how long it took for the Sith to just keep alive, and then Sidious, and so I don't know. Watching those again and talking through them, it's like there is truly so much going on. There's so much information. 1, 2, and 3 are so dense. I feel like of things going on, not just the fall of Anakin, right?
It can get confusing if you don't know anything about it,
right? So I agree with you in a sense that I think it's a little separated because there's 19 years between 3 and 4. And I kind of feel that way about 7 a little bit, since there's 30 years there, right? Between 6 and 7. I mean, you almost could not really miss a beat necessarily. I mean, it's all new characters. I mean, you miss the nostalgic of Han and Luke and obviously in Leia, right? You don't know really who Luke is, but you kind of get his backstory in that.
Yeah.
I think that's what JJ did a great job about is making it for a new generation. Like, you don't have to watch them. You can get all the information that Luke, tried to reestablish the Jedi and failed and whatever, So I don't know. I'm still, because again, 1, 2, and 3, if you watch them in order without ever seeing anything else, I feel like the reveal is Palpatine. Like it's I don't think anybody that doesn't know would make that distinction between Sidious and Palpatine until the very end.
That's
right?
what I'm saying. But that's again, I go back to the 4, 5, and 6 are more simplistic storytelling.
Yes.
Whereas 1, 2, and 3 are so dense. I mean,
very
a little kid,
totally.
for a little kid to understand Palpatine is
totally.
It's like, how do you and the Empire is now the Republic. What's happening? It's like it's very, to me, even as an adult when I watched, I'm like, I'm a little confused. So what's happening? No, this is just again bad guy.
Yeah.
They have the huge reveal in there, the surprises at everyone, and then he gets redeemed at the end. It's kind of a simplistic story, and the reason why 7, 8, 9 are so powerful or ties back in for me again. In 1, 2, and 3, it's mostly different actors and everything else, new characters. So like this, at least in 7, you get to see Luke again, you get to see Leia, and you see Han again and Chewie. So and all those characters, you're just like, I'm back. So and you get introduced to new characters too, which is great for my kids because again, I'm glad my kids have new, younger characters to identify with and grow up with, and see them grow and have new heroes and things like that. So that was done really well. But
So, Luke, there's obviously Luke Skywalker getting the droids. So you think, I'm going back obviously with connected things, but the TV series Rebels, we saw a glimpse of Luke in the episode. Did you see that episode?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I've seen all of Rebels.
So, are you, I mean, I'm pretty sure we're not getting any more Luke in Rebels. There's only one more season.
Mm-hmm.
Disappointed by that at all? Did you want to see more Obi-Wan Luke in Rebels and what's happening on Tatooine a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I like. I would like to see a little bit more.
That was a really good episode, by the way.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I would love to see more of that, and kind of I liked having, Obi-Wan and finish off the actual storyline.
Absolutely, yeah.
So
Finally.
that was like a really cool thing for me. I'm like, oh well, now we're moving into more stuff that all kind of experienced before. So yeah, I mean, it was cool to see it, but it would have been cool to see a little bit more.
Yeah.
I was fine because I feel like they need to save that for an Obi-Wan show, a TV show
Yeah.
on Netflix or something like that.
Yeah.
Because this is about the rebels and the spark of the rebellion. But I totally surprised, and once again using original audio from Beru when she says Luke and she's calling for Luke, and you see a little 17-year-old Luke Skywalker running across like that.
That's right.
It was so heartwarming and amazing and surprising just to see that they would go that far.
Yeah.
And you're from a distant, and it's just literally distant from the story and distant physically and within the frame from Luke Skywalker. It was just brilliantly
Now,
done.
am I right that they used the girl that played Beru in episode 3, her voice?
No, it was just the actual audio from this movie.
Oh, it was just the audio from
Yeah,
this movie.
when she's calling
Yeah.
for Luke in the beginning of this.
Now, do you feel like okay, so it was roughly 7. He was roughly 17 or
That
something
was
like
17, yeah.
that. I mean, do you feel like
in
at that
Rebels.
point, why did I mean? I kind of know the answer. Maybe I would answer this, but why did they wait until now to try to get in contact with Obi-Wan? You know what I mean? Because if that's 2 years, was it because they finally had the plans? Like that was the reason? Because Mothma asked that before they even got the plans, right? He asked, "What about your friend Obi-Wan? Can he help?" Or something like that. I mean, was it because they had Kanan and Ezra and they felt like they didn't need to go after? I mean,
Yeah.
why wait? Because he ain't getting any younger, right?
True.
Sitting
That's a good
there
point.
rotting on Tatooine in a sense.
Well, my opinion of that is just the agreement was under any circumstance really just don't communicate with each other, Obi-Wan or Bail or Yoda. I guess until the time is
Until the
right,
time is right.
to
Right.
really take the fight to the Empire, perhaps. So I guess they felt that it was like ready. We have everything. We have what we need. We're getting plans for the Death Star. We've got our alliance together now. So let's make the stance and bring everybody back.
When did that just happen though? The alliance just happened around the end of the last season, right?
Of Rebels, yes.
Yes. So right around the time we saw Luke.
Yeah. So, but then 2 years later, they really take the fight to the Empire. I guess.
They're
Yeah, so
finally-
2
yeah.
years.
Because they have
I
their
guess.
they have their weapon. I mean, they got the plans and
Yeah.
everything. So it's like they can figure out how to stop this thing. Because again, you watch this movie, you have no idea if this is the first one you see, you don't even know what they're talking about.
No.
So
You have
you
no idea.
don't really see it till a little bit later. But it's one of those things like, what is she talking about? Why is she calling
Yeah.
this Obi-Wan guy?
That's what's so great about prequels, including Rogue One in that prequel category, because the story group or the writers are so good at taking little nuggets like when Leia's thing there, or when Obi-Wan says Clone Wars, or when at the very beginning Tarkin talks about the Senate being dissolved.
Yes.
Like those little nuggets, and the prequels are so good at unpacking that.
Absolutely.
And that's why you just hopefully everybody goes back and watches those prequels to get all that context and understanding. They don't just glance by it, but no, I just love that inflation of the mythology and the story and all the information there. It's very clever.
And for those of you who don't know, there's recipes for blue milk,
Yeah.
and you should get it because it is very good.
Delicious.
This is delicious.
Very delicious.
What? When did I make that?
For Star Wars Day.
Star Wars Day.
May
That's right. Yeah.
25th.
Oh yeah. I brought it in the office. Did you drink some of that?
I didn't know.
You didn't drink any
That's
of it?
good.
Oh,
I didn't know
yeah.
you had it.
Yeah, I brought all those Star Wars candies I brought. Were you? You weren't out of the office then, were you?
I don't know. Maybe.
May 25th.
Yeah. May 5th, May 4th,
May 25th, because it's the day. Was it actual May the 4th?
No,
or
it
was
was
it
Star
the-
Wars Day that I brought.
Okay.
It. May the 4th. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, blue milk, so good. So good. No, so any reason, real quick, though, any reason to think about starting at Rebels?
Starting during Rebels?
Because
I don't think you should.
because
No. Yeah.
Rebels, you're not introduced to any of these
No.
characters.
Yeah.
Well,
Right?
Vader. You get
You get
a spoiler
Vader,
of Vader
at the end of season. Oh
2.
yeah, well,
season 2. You find out that he's
that's-
Anakin.
yeah.
There's that. That's why you.
and,
I've had conversations of like the order to watch it,
and you wouldn't really know who Ahsoka is at all.
Right. So
No.
to
Yeah.
you can watch all Rebels maybe except for that season. Skip season 2. Watch 1 and we can watch 3, and then 4. Whatever happens in season 4.
By the way, side note, I gotta say, I am dying to watch the whole Clone Wars series again
Yeah.
because I read through Dark Disciple, which I was telling you about that
Oh, yeah, you
today.
were.
Huge, bigger appreciation, and by far the most iconic shot in Star Wars. Period.
Yep.
Binary Sunset. But no, Dark Disciple with my new appreciation and admiration for Asajj Ventress. Yes, I said Asajj Ventress. Fantastic character. And then, of course, what I'm reading now, I can't really reveal it. I mean, who knows when you're going to watch it? But it's like I'm reading Inferno Squad now,
Yeah.
and there's a character in there from the Clone Wars
Cool.
episodes, and I'm like, and I knew it too. That he was kind of hidden, and I was like, I think it's this guy. And I looked it up. I'm like, I knew it.
You looked it up.
So
That's
anyway,
funny.
I want to watch Rebels, Clone Wars again. It's so good.
I'm actually trying to go through right now slowly, chronologically. Going
Yes.
through Clone Wars, and
Very much so. Very much so.
Of course, it's still an amazing show.
But see, even like that night shot right there, it's so good looking.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
No,
it's
that's a great shot.
gorgeous
Yeah.
shot. I can't. It's really incredible how well they restored this film from '77 on the Blu-rays. What's my next topic here? So I didn't really have one till later.
No, sorry. Would you guys ever go to Tunisia and actually visit this? If you could visit this set.
If I could, yeah.
Yeah.
Because this was like, again, this is a big part of my childhood. It's something that it'd be one of the few things. I mean, I don't geek out too much on stuff like that, but this particular instance, I would.
I mean, I just
just to see that stuff and see where it was shot and
Yeah.
all that stuff would be very cool.
and I didn't
to
even
me.
know that it's still actually
Like that was cool to me when I saw that.
Yeah.
Like, what is that?
I want one.
There's no wheels.
How is that happening?
I never knew that set was actually a practical, permanent part of that location till like
These guys-
5 years ago.
But it makes you wonder why they didn't just build that in like
Yeah.
by Vegas or something.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
not go all the way to Tunisia. But
Yeah, these guys, but when seeing this for the first time was just
That was
isn't Blue Milk
Who
Bantha
are
milk?
these guys?
Blue Milk is from Banthas, right?
I have no idea. I don't
it's
know.
It's from Banthas.
What?
Yeah.
All right.
No, the first time before you see,
Maybe I should
before
double check this.
Obi-Wan shows up,
Yeah.
when you first see that shot of the Tusken Raider just just come out
Yeah.
of nowhere, that scared.
Oh yeah.
I was like, oh my god, what is that? What is he doing? What is that thing? I always thought they were cool characters, though.
Yeah.
I remember getting action figures and stuff like that, and getting a Tusken Raider was really cool.
It's the sound they make would always scare me a little bit.
Yeah,
It's just such a.
I knew that Bantha milk. See,
I didn't know that.
Well, the weird thing is when I was a kid like that,
Yeah.
freaked me out. Scared
that's-
you to no end. When I was a kid, outside of seeing the movie, the only thing we didn't have, there weren't a lot of VCRs, there weren't anything like that.
Yeah.
But I had an actual record set of just the audio from the movie.
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
it was a open.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Thing,
Yeah.
had a booklet in the middle. And I must have listened to this movie
Yeah.
1,000 times.
Yeah, I would've
like
done
I
that.
knew every single sound
Cues,
effect,
yeah.
cue, dialogue, everything.
I've heard of
Oh my gosh, I wore that
People-
thing out. I wish I
same
still
thing.
had it. It was that was the. I mean, that's where the job was. I could always pick those little things out because I listened to it so much, and without watching it, you pick up on these little audio cues that in the movie that I even today when I watch the movie back, I hear.
Yeah.
I know we're coming or whatever. Like that little note right there, So
I have a similar kind of thing. My brother Corey and I, when we were younger, had a toy. It was a Star Wars toy in the shape of Millennium Falcon. It was a memory game, and it had buttons on the top of the Millennium Falcon, and you push each button, it would say dialogue from the film. So you had to match it.
Oh,
and stuff
wow.
And,
That's
and we just played it so many times, and we got so used to that's how we learned all the dialogue from the film, and like how it was spoken, the nuances of how it was spoken. Like we just kept playing it and listening to it, and so then every time I watch this movie, like we hear that dialogue still, and it just takes us back to that toy and that game. I wish I could buy it and find it again.
yeah, I haven't done that. I've never done that with any other movie. But my parents bought me that record, and I was just like, I wore it out. I listened to it so much.
Old Ben Kenobi.
Yeah, and again, as I get older and keep watching these films, I just feel like Obi-Wan Kenobi isn't. I don't know why he's not. I don't feel like he's as popular as some of these other ones, even though he's arguably the most powerful Jedi.
I loved Obi-Wan.
I-
when I
yeah.
saw him. I
My
thought he was
second,
great.
I guess, second favorite character. I would say.
Really?
Han
Besides
Solo,
Han?
Han
Yeah.
and
Again, as a
Obi-Wan.
little kid, the only thing about this movie is when Luke says, "What do you mean it's old Ben Kenobi?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "Of course it is."
Yeah,
like,
no
even 9
kidding,
years old,
right?
I was like, "Yes."
How many Kenobis are
Yeah.
She's saying Obi-Wan Kenobi. I mean, come on. So
How many people have Kenobi
exactly.
as their
So
last name?
I was like, of course it's him. But,
But,
I thought he was awesome. And then at the end when he's fighting Vader, it crushed me as a kid to watch that
Yes.
scene. But
now back then he was, Alec Guinness is a huge actor at this point.
exactly, and he's even today, even with Ewan McGregor's version of Obi-Wan, which I love.
Yes.
he's still Alec Guinness is still Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yep.
Yeah.
No matter what.
And that's the thing. Even simulating that to the Han Solo film coming out. We'll have two people who played Han Solo. We have two people who played Obi-Wan Kenobi. But yeah, marketing, I feel like, or just when cards come out, like card games or toys or video games, it is usually old Obi-Wan.
Yes.
When they portray Obi-Wan Kenobi. So same thing with Han Solo. When they usually portray Han Solo, are they going to portray the Harrison Ford or Alden Ehrenreich? I naturally assume it's
better
gonna
be Harrison
Ford
Yeah,
the entire
yeah,
time.
yeah.
But still, it's always that. That's the only time we've gotten.
Yeah.
I'm actually wrong.
But I just
But
just
still.
feel like whenever you ask people about Star Wars, obviously I just think their first reactions are Han, Luke, Leia, Vader,
Yeah.
Yoda,
Chewbacca.
Yeah. You go down this whole list of stuff, and then I think you even get into possibly Mace Windu, or Darth Maul, obviously. Before you actually get to Obi-Wan Kenobi as
Right.
one of your favorite characters, but he is. I mean, look what he's been through, man.
He's
you know what I mean?
he's a rock.
And he
He's
also shows the
stands
power
strong.
of being the most powerful Jedi after he's gone.
Absolutely.
'cause it's like, wait a minute, that doesn't happen any other point in any of these movies except for right then and there. You're
That's
like, wait
right.
a minute, what is happening?
That is right.
He's talking to him
Because-
what happened?
Because you obviously watching this, you have that sense that all the Jedi do that. Then
Right.
you know what I mean? Like you think, oh, okay, so you die, you become a Force ghost.
Yeah.
Right.
And then you find out in the prequels that's not the case.
No.
Oh, yes, that is powerful stuff.
Yeah. That's yeah.
Yeah. Now, how would you? So, being a huge Alec Guinness fan, then you okay with a Force Ghost Obi-Wan showing up in Episode 8? Ewan McGregor.
But on top of that, if they made him look like old,
If they had made him
Obi-Wan,
look like
If
that,
they made him look like Obi-Wan, I'd be okay with it. But
I think they would have to. But
yeah.
You think they'd be convincing enough?
that's
By today's standard, I mean, if you had him as a Force ghost and you portray him like they are portrayed, in
the blue thing? Yeah,
in
the
the
blue.
blue thing, I think you do it digitally.
Yeah.
I mean, they've already
Oh,
they've already.
So you would rather prefer a digital?
Well,
I
I think they could.
Yeah.
You know, to make
Well,
it
like
look,
Tarkin. You're saying like Tarkin, right?
Because I thought Tarkin in Rogue One, and I'm never a big fan of the digital mask. I've never seen it done really, really well. But I think Rogue One.
Robert Downey Jr. was really good in Civil War, but that
was pretty good. But I do think even in Rogue One it was even better.
I agree.
You know, with Tarkin especially, because Tarkin was one of my, like, I've always seen Tarkin as close to the Emperor in terms of power in relation to Vader than any other character, because, you know, any other, like, even in Episode 7, you know, Kylo Ren, all the generals and everything talk to him, they're all cowering around him, just like most of these guys are. We're Tarkin, he's Tarkin.
Yeah,
he stands up to Vader. He's like, come on.
Oh, yeah.
You know, he doesn't talk down to him or anything, but, you know, he just carries that presence.
Yeah.
Of being someone who's on the same level as Vader, you know, and all the other characters you see that are on, you know, any other Imperial officer just doesn't carry that weight that I've ever seen, you know, up to this point. You know, he's always been the one. So, and I think they did a great job in Rogue One, even though still I know it's digital, obviously, but and there's a few little things to nitpick about it, but I thought it looked really, really good. I think it's the best I've seen so far.
Yeah, absolutely.
It definitely is. Yeah, I think we might have said it. I didn't anticipate that much of Tarkin in Rogue One.
No, me either.
Like maybe one scene, and you know, and I thought we would see him in that reflection, and that was it.
Yeah.
When he turned around, I was like, "What?"
Wait, he turned. He's talking. Yeah, he keeps moving and talking.
Yes, that was
What's
cool.
happening?
And there's people I've talked to that didn't even realize it. They're like, they thought they got somebody that looked like him.
Exactly. And you know, when I went and saw Rogue One, my wife, she's seen them all, but she
you told me that.
She doesn't connect with who that is. She didn't know. So I knew right then and there that it was working, because I knew, obviously, but someone who's never seen Tarkin before,
Right.
it was that good.
Yeah,
like, she wasn't like,
Yes.
that looked fake.
Yeah.
That was a digital thing. You know? I mean, she didn't know. So I was like, well, it works then. You know, I can nitpick it all to death, but if somebody who's never seen it doesn't know it, then it's great.
Yeah.
It's the best I've seen.
I do want to bring up real fast that little controversy right there.
Okay, I was wondering if we were going to talk about that.
Did you want to or no?
No,
Yeah.
I didn't care. It's fine.
And so I don't know if you saw it, Russ, but you know, real quick, the Star Wars put out a tweet about that shot, like a did you know? When he mentions the lightsaber. By the way, real quick too, I wanted to mention, I think if I'm right, we're 40 minutes in the movie and we just now saw the Empire.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's
You spent a lot of time. You spent a lot of time with Luke initially.
A lot of time. And there's there's Yularen, there's some good guys around here that there's other stories out there. Tag, you got General Tag, you got Admiral
Bald guy back there, right?
Mahdi. Yeah, that guy's he was in the Clone Wars, I think, right?
So
Is that what it was? Or Rogue One.
Rogue One.
Rogue One. Of course, you got Tarkin, you got Mahdi over there, and then you got Yularen, who is ISB, and of course Vader. And we can get into this in a second about how it's like Vader looks like he's working for Tarkin in a sense, but
It does.
It does.
That's why.
And
That's
there's
why.
reasons for
Again,
that.
that's why.
There's actually reasons.
That's
for
why he carries so much weight.
Yes.
You know, as the leader. You know, he always think Vader's a leader. When you see this scene, you're like, oh, hold on a second.
that. Yes.
Vader's his henchman. You know, you don't see you like, oh, that's the guy.
Yep.
You know, so that's why I always thought he was a great character. I always loved him.
And there's a mention of line because
It is.
you have no idea what the Senate is. You've never seen the Emperor at this point. You don't know who he is. You know, it's like, okay, so there's one guy, I guess, ruling the galaxy, and these are his henchmen. You know, so. But there is a deleted scene I didn't actually see until this year. That was in the very beginning of the. Remember? Did I show that to you?
Well, I saw it from Celebration. Yeah.
So General Tag, when he starts talking, he actually says.
Before Vader walks in.
Before Vader and Tarkin walk in, he says, God, I can't remember fully, but he says something about the Sith Lord,
Yeah,
Darth Vader.
We don't need a Sith Lord.
So he
here or
actually
whatever.
says Sith. So to think that, to be honest, because I want to say you don't know. There's no mention of the Sith in 4, 5, and 6. Right?
I don't know.
The only
think so.
reason you knew is I think on the back of Vader's figure, it says Dark Lord of the Sith. Right? So there's no mention of the Sith in the movies. But that line that George had in 77, there was a mention of a Sith. So that's what I'm saying is that in this trilogy, it's really just about the Empire, not really about the Sith.
Right.
You know, so which is different than if you had the perspective of watching the first 3 films.
Right.
You know,
It is about
it's that the Sith are the evil ones actually that are behind.
I just want to go
all
back to
this,
that scene real quick. I like the fact because it's in everyone's mind that when Vader force chokes someone, he kills him.
Yeah.
And the fact-
You're right.
And the fact
yeah.
that he doesn't in that first time we see it, I thought was a really good choice to do. Like, not kill him right away. You know, he's already killed the guy. You know, the rebel, but you know, to have him go against, like, because that's the first time you see that power, you're like, what's happening right now? You know, because even Tarkin kind of looks at him like,
Yeah.
but he doesn't kill him; he lets him go. I was like, that was a good choice because I think it's almost, again, I think most people would think you do a force choke, you kill someone.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, that shows a little restraint on his part, which I thought.
One of my favorite shots coming up here.
Mm-hmm.
Luke's reaction shot.
Yeah, this was.
I think Boba Fett did all this.
Until it's
No
until
disintegrations.
they say different.
Yeah, no.
Let's see. I think.
But
it's
real quick back to that C-3PO thing. I just almost mentioned
Yeah.
it, but the line they had in there was when Obi-Wan mentions the lightsaber, it triggers something in 3PO's programming to say when he says, "Do you mind if I shut down?" Because he's programmed to shut off when he hears about that lightsaber, so that he doesn't reveal that what he knows about it. I guess. Is
Well,
that what it kinda was?
it's more brief. It's more brief about that. I think it just says his protocol is to shut off
At the side of that
Yeah.
lightsaber.
I wish I can pull it up, but we can't.
We
because
can't.
they
It's
took it
deleted.
down.
I actually took a picture of it. Actually, I think.
Well, if you, pull it up real quick. But yeah, it's
It was really weird. But then people started railing on it because
Yeah.
for some reason they thought it was like a knock against post-traumatic stress syndrome.
they
Like,
get really weird.
they went really weird with it.
Oh no, I hadn't seen that.
And so Star Wars took it down. But anyway, it was just really weird to think that they even thought of that and had that part of the canon. I guess I don't know. You know, it was really weird. But
Trying to see if you sent it to me. I don't think you did. No.
no, I did text it to you.
Did you?
I'm pretty sure I texted to you.
And again, too, I know that you know you can reprogram droids and all that kind of stuff, but again, if you watch the prequels prior to this, you might have that in your head.
Yeah.
When it talks about the lights, like why doesn't C-3PO just tell him everything?
Exactly.
Why is he
Yes.
not doing anything?
Or R2.
Yeah, exactly. So
'Cause R2 wasn't- his memory wasn't wiped.
That's kind of the you know, why they spend so much time before we see the Empire. 40 minutes into the movie is because there is that mystery.
Yes.
That mystery holds up prior to seeing the prequels.
Yeah.
You know, that the mystery's gone if you watch all that stuff first.
Yeah.
You don't get any of that.
And I think you just gotta
Yeah.
accept the fact that droids are not AI. They're
Right.
not intelligent. You know, they don't
all
consume
programmed
memory
and
and it's all
following
protocols and it's all
programs, yeah.
programmed.
Right.
So R2, yes, he knows all these things, but he doesn't think to tell you. You know, he's not like, oh, by the way,
Yeah.
that's Darth Vader that's Anakin Skywalker who's your father.
Right.
Like he
Exactly.
doesn't put it together, you know what I
Right.
mean? So it's not like I don't know.
He doesn't
Right.
have the emotion to say, "Oh my gosh, I need to tell him this."
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, you know, he's just going about his business and doing
And you can
what
play
he's
it
told.
off as that. You know, I mean, but I think the more you delve into even, like, say, back to the comics and stuff like that, because in the comics, you know, the Dr. Aphra series, it's you know, she's got 2 droids,
Yeah.
Yeah.
000 and BT, and their protocols are kill people, but
Yeah,
but
that's
in
right.
the comics, they don't have this same attitude as 3PO does. As being protocol, they act like they are almost AI because they have their own. Like, I want to kill this guy.
Yeah. I can't wait.
I
Yeah.
can't wait to kill
Yeah.
someone. Let's slaughter them. It's like they're more
But that's how they're programmed.
right.
That's how they're
Exactly.
programmed to do, yeah.
But you
It
kind
does
of
come across.
it comes
as-
across.
yeah.
It comes
Right.
across that way. Whereas 3PO, obviously,
They scheme a little more.
the more
yeah.
the more you watch these movies, you know, 3PO obviously it's his programming. It's this. You know, because who knew that when his arm is gone,
Yeah.
after the Tusken Raider attack, that it would have not so much meaning, but have that little thread that goes all the way through.
Yeah.
You know, so that was always pretty cool. Now that I see it, I'm like, oh wait a minute, that ties into all that
keeps
stuff.
losing
later.
his limbs.
Keeps losing his left arm. What the heck, man?
So I found it real fast.
Okay.
So Star Wars, it was called Galactic Guide, just a little picture of it. But it says, upon seeing Anakin Skywalker's lightsaber, C-3PO's programming mandates he requests to close down so he won't divulge any of his former master's secrets.
Gotcha. Which, yeah,
Okay.
that doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
Canonically.
Yeah, because, I mean, for one, his memory was wiped, but
Yeah.
maybe it's not a memory, it's a protocol. So it's not necessarily his memory. His memory was wiped, but there's a protocol in there that wasn't wiped, apparently.
Maybe they deleted it, but they didn't format. So it's like still there.
Yes, correct.
I don't know.
No, I think that's right. I think there's different things. But, people were going crazy about it being like a knock on,
Yeah.
soldiers coming back from war and all this stuff. It's like,
Okay.
I did
not
not
the conversation I thought it would be.
I did
it would
not
trigger.
get that. I did not get that. But anyway, they took it down, but I have a copy of it.
Again, I'll just quickly on this scene.
Yeah, it's
as
awesome.
As a kid, this is when you get the sense of how big it is in terms of the universe.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
up to this point, you see humans, you see droids, you see a couple, alien things. You're like, oh, well, what is this? But then you go in here, and you see all these different. That whole opening sequence is just
Absolutely.
when they come into the cantina. I'm like, oh, again, as a kid, you're just like blown away by all
Yeah.
these different creatures and aliens and just how cool it all is. It's,
Very cool.
and it lightens up. It lightens up a little bit because we just came from a very obviously traumatic time for.
There's so many stories in there. But I got to be honest. There's a guy out there. I think I can't. Adiwan or Adiwan that's doing the Revisited. It's called Star
I
Wars
can't remember that guy's
Revisited.
name. Yeah. Yeah.
Have you seen those yet? Where he's been doing this for years. I mean, God bless him. And I'm talking years, like the early 2000s. He's been redoing 4, 5, and 6, kind of a ultimate edition in a sense, like literally redoing in a sense where at first it was just kind of touching up some CG and doing some different things, but now he's like building sets and reshooting stuff.
Really?
Yeah, it's crazy. He's almost done with Empire. He did A New Hope, but I will commend him I commend him anyway, but I really love what he did with this scene.
Yes. Yeah.
Because if you watch what he did with this, like all these creatures that have masks, he put movement in their faces.
Oh, really?
Like eyes blinking,
Little facial
snarls,
twitches,
yeah,
yeah.
twitches,
Ears.
yeah, things moving on their face, so they look more alive. Completely well done. I kind of wish that Lucasfilm had done it, because it does make it just makes them more real. And I mean,
And he
not that
also
they're not real,
He cleaned
but
up the arm blood too, I think.
he did. Yeah, because it shouldn't have blood. It gets cauterized, right? But all these guys, have. Is that Greedo? That's Greedo right there, right?
Yeah.
He's back there, yeah. He's
Yeah.
walking around.
But it was really well done. I was surprised. I loved that scene because as you go around all those people and stuff, you just see them move around. Even I think Ponda Baba had some movement in his face.
Probably.
I love the addition of those dupacks. By the way, I think
I actually did like
I
that.
think those
I
are
mean,
huge.
I'm not a big. I'm not.
special edition.
Well, no, I'm not.
Oh.
I'm not a big railer on the special editions. I mean, I'd love to see the originals like they were, but I did think add the Banthas or the dupacks were a really cool thing in there to do and enhance it a little bit to me, gave a little more life to it, which you couldn't do back then. I mean,
Yeah, and then there's the introduction of Han Solo, but it won't be an introduction
I know.
once
What?
the film comes out next
Again,
year.
that's why you gotta watch these first.
Yeah.
Because all these iconic characters.
That's
kind of-
probably what's going to convince
kind-
that is the nail in the coffin for me now.
it just kind of, again, when you see this for the first time, introduced all these characters. I think, again, all the things I'm talking about, the mystery of what Princess Leia is talking about, all that's gone. This is just another installment, which is fine if that's how you want to go into it. But to see Han the first time like this, and Chewie, and what I find really interesting is too when I through all the toys and T-shirts I have, and comic books and just all the stuff that I see, all these characters and everything, trading cards, all this stuff. It's amazing how characters I've become attached to that I really put in my head as Star Wars characters, ancillary characters. Like when I go back and watch movies, I'm like, they're like in one scene. They're like in one shot.
Yeah.
Like they're never talked about. They're not. There's no real information about them when you watch the movies. So I always thought that was a cool, like, little thing I've seen before.
I'm 100% convinced now. I will not stand here and let my child be first introduced to Han Solo if it's not Harrison Ford. So,
I know, because they're going to be like,
yeah.
what? They changed the actor.
Oh man,
Oh.
just kill it for me.
Yeah.
Sorry, I gotta do 4, 5, and or I can do Rogue One at least maybe. But
Yeah.
Rogue
Yeah.
One, 4, 5, 6.
But I do think, I think the really good thing that will come out of the Han Solo film is I really think you'll probably get a real good grasp of their relationship, Han and Chewie.
Yeah.
Because, in some views, you could look at these films and be like, well, he almost looks like his slave, or his buddy that he bosses around all the time,
Yeah.
But I think it's actually in, is it in Aftermath, Life Debt, where he I think Han's in there. Didn't he tell one of those guys, like, he's doing this, the whole thing about liberating Kashyyyk. He's like, he's family. He even points it out that,
They even going again.
Chewie is family.
Leaving his wife to help out Chewbacca.
Yes,
Because-
like there's no question he was going to do that. So
he has to.
there's an unmistakable bond between them that now, going back and watching this, and so it's really cool. But unfortunately, so now we're getting to probably the most controversial
Scene ever
ever. Yeah.
in Star Wars.
Which, one reason why I'm excited for the Han Solo film is to hopefully get to the context of Han Solo being the scoundrel,
Right.
and being the bad boy, because how this is currently standing, you don't get that as much. And throughout all these movies and throughout reading all the books after this movie, they always refer to Han as like his old scoundrel days, his old racing days. His, this is such a alien life to him, where it's like he's being responsible. He's in the good side in a sense of fighting for the little guy.
Again, when you see this movie, I'll always go back to when I was a little kid. When I first saw this, I always thought, wow, Han is. He's always out for himself. He's kind of a scoundrel.
You get that idea more.
He is, but he's kind of cool, and you get that whole vibe about Han Solo from this movie and from this performance. So again, to have any of that kind of, I think it's okay to watch them as they were released, simply because you like Han Solo because of the first 4, 5, and 6. So now it's okay to go back and go, I want to know more about him now.
Yeah.
Or I want to know how Vader became Vader. As opposed to anything else, because you really this is the reason they made those movies, is because of this. So
I think that's just past the camera. That's weird. Long legs. No, absolutely. And I think now, with Han Solo, we will finally get that context that, unfortunately we didn't get with that one scene that's been changed of Han shooting before Greedo. But
Now, they kind of shoot at the same time now.
yeah, that's really close.
It's really close
really
now.
close. Yeah.
Now, I like that they put this back in there. This scene.
scene?
I really do. Now, the first time I hated it because Jabba looked hideous. But now that they fixed Jabba to look more like Jabba, the other one had like these really big eyes, and they weren't closed like that.
The only thing I can say about this, in a negative,
Boba Fett, man. Like,
in a negative way, is that the scenes. I'm okay with the scene, how they did that, but for whatever reason, in the initial movie, Jabba seemed so much bigger, size-wise. Like
but he's not. Yeah,
I know,
but
he like
because he's on that platform.
I know.
Yeah,
that makes him feel like that. So to see him like that, I'm like, well, he's kind of like same size.
But I like.
He's
I like.
fat, but he's not like. He just seems like a bigger character, in when he's up there on that platform.
But what I like what it does for me in this context also is it shows his movement, because in Return of the Jedi you could get to the point where like
everybody moves.
These guys don't move.
Right, exactly.
He needs that platform to move, but they're like slugs. They can move around. And they're actually some Hutts are very agile.
Some are fast.
And I think there's one even Aftermath that was a bounty hunter.
Yep. Nemo.
So Nemo. So it's like, but and for some people, I mean, most Star Wars fans know this, but like I had to point out to somebody, like Boba Fett was not on set. That's put in That's shot later. So Boba Fett was not in the original scene. That they put that in the special edition. They added him in there, which I thought was pretty
Wish
neat.
we had like the other bounty hunters in there, like
Yes.
IG-88 or something
Yes.
like that. Would have been nice.
I want to see a bounty hunter movie so bad. That's what I want to see.
Maybe it's it. Maybe we'll get it. Might get it.
And I think adding Boba Fett in that shot is okay because, again, if this was the first one you see, you don't know who he is. You don't know
Yeah.
anything about him.
Totally.
So it's not like he just looks like another character that's there. So to find out more about him as we go along, his story, I think it's, again, it holds up better to me that way, not knowing who these characters are.
Yeah.
And then going back and finding out
Yeah.
about them versus the way it's played out. But I was okay with that because it wasn't like, oh, well, you should have introduced him there because they really didn't. He's just there.
Yeah. Right. And they didn't, again, he wasn't in the original, but even Empire, you still don't even get his name in Empire. You don't get his name
Right.
until Return of the Jedi. So yeah, you have no idea who he is then.
He's
But he
so-
looks cool. That's the only thing. He
There's
looks
another
so
thing.
cool.
Like Han Solo, he's so ready to shoot at the stormtroopers.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't care. Like, this is the authority, and he's just okay to go and start shooting and killing them.
Yeah.
Like, I wonder if maybe it's not necessary, but I wonder if in the Han Solo spinoff we will get that moment where Han Solo sort of declares that, I don't care about the Empire and stormtroopers. If I run into them and if guns start blasting, I don't care what happens anymore. Because I feel like you should be very hesitant to shoot at stormtroopers.
Yeah,
if you're
and you
anybody.
did get that in Rogue One,
Yeah.
right? Like that guy was like, "What are you doing?" when
Yeah.
he shot him at the beginning. Cassian shot those.
So unless you're a rebel,
but he's
I feel
kind
like
of
you
a,
should be
yeah. But he,
Right.
well, yeah. But I think scoundrels in a sense.
I
that
guess, I mean,
maybe
it
they're
is.
just
Maybe it's
lawless. They're out there.
Yeah, he seems
Understood.
he seems like an outlaw. you
Yeah,
know?
totally.
And so that plays well for him as a character. Just
He might be wanted on 12 systems.
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Who knows? But like the thought too of seeing a movie in '77 and now from this point on, it's like a lot of the movies in this cockpit too.
Yeah.
To do
Yeah.
an iconic scene like it's like this shot has become so iconic now. Like seeing it in episode 7,
Right.
again, it's like,
Oh, yeah.
man,
Yeah,
like the cockpit of the
that was
Millennium
huge for
Falcon.
me to see that.
And you just need
What's
like a
that
little
flashing?
piece.
No.
You just need to build that little piece in a set, and you got
Yeah.
you can shoot a movie
Yep.
out of it. Now this first time,
What?
now I'll always say this. If you think about it, because I know I'm 100% correct in this. In the prequels, there's never that star effect when they go to hyperspace.
Yeah.
And I don't know why he didn't do that. I have no idea. You see the outside of the ship and it just blasts off.
Yeah. Yeah.
That cockpit shot of just the stars coming
Yeah.
by I don't know why he never did that because I was waiting for it in every film. I remember seeing it in every
Right.
film.
Oh, here it comes.
I didn't see it in episode 1. I'm like, what? And then episode 2, I'm like, what? 3 has to be. No, nothing. So now I don't know. And then episode 7, of course, brings in the tunnel. Well, there's a tunnel shot in
We see a tunnel in
this one or Empire?
5. Yeah, I think Empire.
Empire. I
maybe?
think it's Empire. Yeah,
Yeah, you see the tunnel.
yeah.
That's cool.
It's funny because
Yeah,
I love how
tough.
in Bloodline they explain this her
how-
dialogue right
why
there,
she's
right?
Talking in British accent.
Yeah, she explains. The book kind of explains
Covers up.
why she's talking like in a
Mistake.
British accent here. She's trying to like mock him a little bit,
Yeah.
right?
And there's
All right.
I think there's a little bit like I think some people actually don that accent to
Being
portray themselves.
Yeah, that's right.
As a
yeah.
higher class, but I think she definitely did it as mocking.
Yeah,
in this
she did it
case.
as mock. Yeah,
Again, this is the only time. This is like seeing this for the first time. You're just like, okay, she gave it up. She
Yeah.
that's the only
Yes.
time she cowers, and then for him to go, okay, continue.
Blow it up
And
anyway.
like what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I thought that was just to show. That really showed. It made Tarkin seem even more evil.
oh gosh, yeah,
He just doesn't
Vader
care.
does.
Yeah, he just
He's like-
doesn't.
like,
totally.
I don't trust you.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go blow it up anyway.
Entire planet.
Mm-hmm.
An entire planet. It's
Yeah.
crazy to not even
So that
care
was one
about
of my.
that.
That was another question of mine was. That's kind of the one thing we've been isolated from is Alderaan. Do you want to see more of Alderaan at all? Obviously, it had to be before this,
I
but
hope we do. Yeah.
because apparently there's no weapons. There's no weapons on Alderaan. They're
Right.
like
Yeah.
the most peaceful people you can think of, and that whole society was taken from her and the galaxy.
Yeah, I think so because it affected. I mean, this is again you see a little more of how powerful he is because he's like. It seems like all his lives were snuffed out. He knows something terrible happened.
Yeah.
Like he feels it in the Force. He felt all these people dying. Doesn't know why, but again, that's just a little hint to how strong he is as a Jedi.
Absolutely. You want to see?
I would love to see Alderaan. I mean, I guess I don't know what could happen there. You kind of would have thought that something would have happened during the Clone Wars show because maybe I think it'd be an easy story for the war to come to Alderaan and how they're going to defend themselves on Alderaan. But
You could do
Maybe it hasn't
I
fit
mean,
yet.
this is kind of sad. It's kind of sad. You could do a really good emotional film about characters that kind of redeem themselves or find their way, unfortunately, and then all of a sudden it ends. They look up, and then there's a Death Star in the sky.
when do we get another moon?
Oh wait, what? Yeah. Oh, what is that?
Yeah.
That looks cool. I don't know. Or maybe it's one of them things where I hate to say it, like a family gets transferred out and it happens to be that day and they make it off
Maybe a couple
world. I don't know.
stormtroopers get sent to Alderaan to find the plans.
Find the plans
Yeah.
and they don't make it out.
Make it out.
I mean, there's some great stories there from Alderaan. Yeah. TheUnknownDiscovery.com.
Yeah. Still haven't fixed this lightsaber completely.
They haven't. Yeah, that is another.
No,
Look how bad that is.
Yeah,
That's bad.
that doesn't hold up quite as well to
weird.
what they are today.
Like
But
there,
even-
it's a little better, but
Yeah, but it's like greenish too. It's not
a
like
little bit.
full
It's
blue.
just not. I don't know. I just don't understand.
I don't. Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe they don't have the
like that
the-
was like when he
That was
like
bad.
Yeah,
The
that was,
cut.
like,
Maybe they
cut
don't have
was-
the right grade of film. Maybe their stock is just not good enough to where they could manipulate it.
I don't know.
to
These
look
are all
better.
digital now. Hell, I could do
I
it.
guess, yeah.
I mean,
You know.
you just got to overlay
layer
a saber on top of it. I mean, there's no reason any of these sabers should be
Yeah.
bad. 4, 5, and 6, just like how they look in 1, 2, and 3. Because Vader's still sometimes looks pink, not red.
right.
Notice Obi-Wan's got some patches on his robe. I wonder if that's patches to cover up the, the Mustafar lava.
Yes. Oh,
burns,
yeah,
maybe?
true.
It's kind of done some own tailoring.
See, there's white. Now it's white.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a cool sound.
But we did see a glimpse of this training in episode 2 finally. They actually do this training.
It's a real thing.
It's a real thing.
So just odds he had one on the
Yeah.
Falcon.
Yeah. The only thing about this now that I'm older, I'm kind of like, okay, why is that helmet on the Millennium Falcon? Why does
Yeah.
it have a blast shield
Yeah.
where you can't see anything out of it? The
there's
helmet's
no
totally
practical
impractical.
purpose.
I'm not sure what it's for.
I'm not
Because
either.
if it was something that Obi-Wan brought with him,
Yeah.
it's a training thing. Okay,
Help-
I get it, but it was like just sitting there on the shoes. Like, use this.
Yeah, maybe
Like, why
he
is that there?
He sleeps on it with it. It's like the sleeping mask.
guess.
He
I
just
don't know.
Has
It's
to go
like-
sleep so no
seems-
light gets in his
It
eyes.
seemed very convenient to have
Yeah.
a blast shield there, so he couldn't see. So you reach out, and feel it.
Yeah.
That's all.
What do you think Tarkin's doing there?
I think he's balancing his checkbook.
Yeah.
That's what he's doing.
What's happening? Where's everything going?
Do you feel like we? I don't know. Do you feel like you needed to see the Emperor at all in this,
It felt. I feel like
or wanted to see more?
There's a tunnel.
Oh yeah, that's,
Yeah.
that's the shot. Yeah, that's right. That's the shot.
Again, I think I don't think you have to. I think this is solely focused on really.
Plus, it's a good reveal.
It's a great reveal.
Episode 6.
Exactly. I think it's a great reveal because you don't know who he is. It leaves a little mystery, and obviously this was set up to be 3 movies, so the mysteries are set up to be followed. And again. Keep going back. If you watch all the stuff earlier, you're like, I already know there's who he
Yeah.
is. So
I don't know if it was ever true, but I read somewhere after the release of episode 3, and they were starting to kind of still play with these movies. George was still adding some stuff here and there. I had read somewhere that there was a rumor that he had shot a scene with then Jimmy Smith's Bail Organa and Ian McDermott as the Emperor, that he had shot a scene with them. Bail on Alderaan and Emperor as a hologram, talking about, and it was supposed to be inserted in episode 4 prior to the dissolve of the Senate. Like there was some scene with that. I had read that somewhere and heard that people were talking about it, but obviously it never materialized, so it probably wasn't true. But I don't know. I would have kind of enjoyed seeing that.
Been interesting
Now,
to have that.
yeah,
Yeah, I might. Yeah,
but I am happy with Jimmy and Rogue One now.
So that's the thing. Maybe now it would have fit in Rogue One. I don't know.
In Rogue One, actually,
Rogue
absolutely.
One,
yeah.
maybe.
Yeah.
I want to go back really quick when that guy came to Tarkin's office there, the war room. He talking about they went to the team went to Dantooine, and there were signs of a rebel base, but no one was there, kind of a thing. Just fun fact, if anybody wants to know, that moment that he's referring to is actually in Lost Stars that you have over there in bookshelf.
Oh,
so
cool.
One of the main characters
Going to Dantooine?
Yeah, one of the main characters when he was fighting for the Empire, he was a part of the squad that flew to Tatooine to investigate it. And while they were there, and spoiler alert for that book, but I mean,
yeah.
while that squad and that team are on Dantooine, because it takes so long to get out there, and they're investigating, they're staying there for a little bit. While they're out there is when the Death Star gets blown up. So that squad is still out there.
Oh.
And they come back, and they realize what happened. And then Then the rest of the huge long book happens. But yeah, it's just Lost Stars is it's a decent book. I think it's fine. It's that young adult, so it's written very much for that younger audience, that young girl and young boy audience. So it was only for my demographic, but it's great in filling in gaps, which I sadly love.
I do too.
Fan service type of thing, like the little fill in every single little gap. Like I think it's cool, like knowing absolutely everything.
Isn't Twilight Company kind of like that too?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, it fills in some gaps with Battle of Hoth. Like there's cool little nuggets now in Battle of Hoth. But when we watch episode 5, I'm gonna be like, Twilight Company's there somewhere. So it's pretty neat.
I like just before the scene happens here when the Falcon's coming in to the tractor beam. We know this is planet size,
Yes.
Space station.
It's a moon,
but
big moon.
It's not until you see how, because you're so used to how big the Millennium Falcon is, and then all of a sudden you see is this little tiny thing coming into the bay.
Yeah.
You're like, what? This just makes it look. You're like, what?
Yeah.
To make that connection,
just to fathom that something like that
is so big,
is built.
Yeah,
it
exactly.
can be
And
built.
they make an even bigger one.
And what's crazy to even think, because I never even thought about it, but the thing has hyperdrives on it. Like it travels in hyperspace.
Like if they cared about scientific, I feel like that would screw up so much.
Yeah,
Gravitational pull.
yeah,
Like
totally.
there's that huge mass
Gravitational
object
field
coming
and
in
everything.
and just shake a planet.
Right,
I feel
yeah.
like
Yeah,
mess with your tides or something. I don't know.
yeah, totally. But that actually is funny you say that too, Casey, because I'll point out because Inferno Squad
Yeah.
starts at the Battle of Yavin.
Oh, you're right.
So, like,
Yeah.
Iden is one of the
You're gonna
girls.
be like,
she's
"Where
in
is she?"
she's in she's a TIE fighter in one of the pilots
Iden Verso.
shooting down Iden, right? Yeah,
Iden, yeah,
Iden
yeah.
Versio. Fantastic character. She's great. But this, that's it. It's in this. I'm like,
cool.
that's actually I'm pumped to watch it again, just to see that again.
And I love that. I mean, like again with Lost Stars, like with one of the other characters, I think she's on Tarkin's Starter Story right now outside. So it's just fun. Like all these books and comics
Totally.
are adding so much to it and context and the
TK421 needs his own story.
He does.
Well, he might be. This is gonna bring me. I was thinking the certain point of view
Yes.
book where each
wait for
40 of
that.
the 40 short stories is
Oh,
taking
he
a
is?
minor
Is that
character.
in there?
I don't know. He might be, but I'm saying one of the other stormtroopers in this, which one was one that stunned Leia.
The one that stunned Leia.
The one that
that's
stunned
right.
Leia, it has a little
Has
short
his own
story.
Yes.
In that certain point of view novel, or anthology, and I think that's such a brilliant idea
That is a
because
brilliant
again, it's
idea.
filling in
You
little
know about that book?
gaps.
No.
Did you know? Oh, okay.
So yeah, they advertised it and they revealed it at Celebration where 40 authors, 40 short stories, all about either like a minor character or or an event told from a different point of view.
It's called Certain Point of View, right?
Yeah,
I
so
think I may have heard of that.
Yeah,
So,
you probably
like-
did, yeah.
this minor stormtrooper that doesn't even have a name,
Yeah.
seeing this through his eyes.
Oh,
or
that's
something
cool.
Like that,
Yeah.
I like that.
Other little things, like the stormtroopers that Obi-Wan Kenobi mind tricked,
Right.
like those guys.
Oh,
like
that's
will have
cool.
a story.
Yeah.
So
I like that.
little
Yeah,
things
I
like
know.
that.
That's cool.
Really cool.
That's a cool little thing.
There's some
Comes
good
out this
writers
year.
too, and
Oh,
some
like
very
almost
good
everybody, I think
everybody,
it was.
almost everybody, yeah,
Charles Soule's got one in there.
yeah. Did Zahn have one? Does Zahn have
Zahn
one?
doesn't have one.
No.
No. But Paul.
Yeah, but Charles Soule,
Aldondo's
Rucker.
got
I think
one.
Greg Rucka has,
Yeah.
has
Oh
one.
man, I'll definitely read that then.
Yes, it's
I
really
love all
good.
those writers. Because Charles Soule's one, he's writing the Vader series. right?
Absolutely. I'm a huge fan right now of James Lucino.
Yes. Oh, he's
Zahn did a great job. Christy Golden's doing fantastic
Yeah.
with her stuff. So really, I never thought I was. I thought it was gonna take me a long time, but audiobooks, man, booyah,
knocking him out.
awesome. Driving to and from work.
That's probably what I'll have to do.
I
love
will
it,
have
man.
to do that too. Yeah.
You can. I just give them to you. You can listen to- I got all them.
He's leaning on Chewbacca.
I know,
That's
right?
rude.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like he's almost like, stay there. Let me lean on you. Don't move. Yeah. But it's, and I don't think it still doesn't even bother me, to think that with all the technology and hyperspace and stuff like that, and you have a wall full of just blinking lights, it's like,
Yeah.
but it's, I don't know. It's
I like
it's
because there's some restraint to
Totally.
the technology.
Yes,
it makes
there
it a
is
little more
some.
real, even though it's fantasy in a way. It still makes it a little more real.
Yeah.
I am curious about communications, though, because we brought that up a little bit about
Oh,
how that works. Because, like a Rogue One, they needed that line of sight to transmit,
Right.
but you can't. For some reason, I think they mentioned they couldn't like send it straight to Yavin.
Across the galaxy.
You
kind
can't,
of thing,
yeah, without
Systems.
but they can transmit a hologram communication across the galaxy. So how does that work? I don't know how that works.
That's a good question.
So like Palpatine could communicate with, Queen Amidala and Naboo from Coruscant,
Right.
but he couldn't send them probably a data.
I mean, it's just
Maybe, I don't know.
I mean, you
Yeah,
got
that's the
you can
thing.
think of it as
Well, they get bad Wi-Fi. I mean,
Yeah,
Totally
exactly.
bad
Yeah.
Wi-Fi.
Think of it as
Yeah.
the size of the data that's going through, or a hologram.
And maybe that's why the holograms are not perfect,
Yeah.
right? They're these flashy
a
blue.
little staticky, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I always
There's spotty Wi-Fi everywhere.
It is spotty. It's very. It's a lot of data coming through there across that far. But I thought of maybe it's a hyperspace signal, because what's a Starkiller base? That was the beam they send out is traveling at hyperspace. That's why it's so fast. It goes across the galaxy. We're
Yeah.
big nerds here.
Yeah, I
so.
wanna- We need another like Star Wars technology of Star Wars kind of.
It's probably explained. I'll just ask Pablo
Yeah,
again
he'll tell
later. Mouse droids.
Or he'll say,
Gotta love
"Oh,
mouse
yeah,
droids.
why are you worrying about
that
it?"
was always funny.
Yeah.
When I first saw that as a
Just
kid.
scared.
Mouse
Like,
droid. Yeah.
He's like,
What
what?
is the purpose? What is the purpose of
That thing,
droids?
mouse droid. Yeah. I think he's actually.
Do they clean
He's
up
like
stuff?
the Robo. He's like sweeping the
Roomba?
floors.
Well,
the Roomba. Yeah. I mean.
Speaking of minor characters, in the very first Vader book from Charles Soule in this new series,
yeah.
the backstory, there's a secondary story. It's more comic book.
Oh, yeah.
It's more
The droid
like
things?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like they talk about a mouse droid seeing all this stuff that all the generals that Vader kills. All those, yeah. So
That's
was,
right.
That was
That's
funny.
right. Yeah. So, I'll throw this question out that I've been thinking about a lot lately with reading these books again. To you, Russ, really is, and you might not have the same perspective as me and Casey without reading these novels, but I feel like Lucasfilm is, with the stories that are coming out, they're giving you a different look and feel of the Empire. They're giving you a more internal view versus external view. Because, like when this came out, even Lucas has said, there's a reason why it's all white guys. He wanted this to seem like the Nazi regimen, right? That they were the evil white people and, white males. There's no females.
Yeah.
or aliens that work for the Empire.
Yeah, no, it seems very
Yeah, it's very, militarized and, we rule everything, blah, blah, blah. But lately, obviously, since the Disney takeover, really, not takeover, they sold it to them. But, they're introducing Admiral Sloan,
Yeah.
Iden Versio, these female characters and aliens, Thrawn, and then you actually find out there's been other aliens kind of in the military, but you're getting a viewpoint from their viewpoint of how they think the Empire is actually the right government and type of government for the galaxy now. And some of them are even saying, well, they wouldn't do what Palpatine's doing. They could do it better. Sloan is a big proponent of that. But you're getting in their view of the rebellion,
Right.
it's just a bunch of terrorists. They don't know what they're doing, So it's like, I don't know. Is that a good thing that they're doing that to I don't know. Is that I don't even know if that's truly their intent, but I feel like they're trying to give you both sides of the story, both sides of the war.
I think it's a good thing because, as I told you earlier, that kind of the old saying is any kind of war movie or any war at all, it doesn't really work as well if one side is truly good and one side is truly evil. Both sides have to feel like they're the good guys. It's just a matter of how they go about it.
Absolutely.
So,
Right.
This obviously shows them like they're just pure evil.
Right.
And there's historical proof that there's like just pure evil. But then again, I think that the people who we consider bad believe they're right.
Yeah.
Yep. So I do think it's good to see, more. I think it's good to see people within the Empire, like, not just be purely evil. Like, no, I think we're doing the right thing. Maybe the tactics aren't the way it should be done.
Yeah.
But you can say that for the history, what's going on today.
Sure.
With the Middle East, is like they don't think they're wrong.
Right.
It's like, no, this is the way it's supposed to be. So we believe this, and that's all there is to it. It's not that they're purely evil, or at least in their own mindset. So,
but that's what Inferno Squad's giving you. Like that book, the 4 members of the Inferno Squad are really just so loyal to the Empire, and they don't even know the Emperor. They don't know, and obviously they don't know the history of the Sith and what happened. Really, at least I don't think they do. But they just serve the Empire, and they feel threatened that this group out there, formerly Saul's group, the partisans, and then of course the rebellion. It's like these people are destroying lives, But it's funny because again they humanize them really. Christy Golden did a really good job humanizing them because Iden does, in a sense, feel like when Alderaan is destroyed, it's like there were innocent people on Alderaan. Like that, like she kind of thinks about, was that really necessary?
right.
There was serious, destroying Jeddah City is one thing, because they were going after Saul's people, right? Saul. But Alderaan, but that's the thing too, is you got to think about this. At this point, even at this point, at this point, people don't necessarily even know about the Death Star yet. Like, no one knows the Death Star even exists.
Right, exactly.
Except the Empire, and only select members of the Empire, and people that are. There's about 1 million people, they said, on the Death Star. Billions.
Something like that.
Military. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's not like this, when you're watching this movie, it's like, oh, these guys are being introduced to it, and maybe the galaxy kind of knows about them. And it's not like, when Alderaan destroyed, there's like a CNN update, like, hey, Alderaan has just been blown away.
Exactly.
No one knows. People are still in the dark about it. The Senate's dissolved. Again, you have to be really geeking out to know what we know, but it's like people in the senators at this point now are starting to get arrested, the ones that they feel are serving the rebellion. Mothma escapes, obviously, because we see her later. But, it's like there's and they talk about a prison in Inferno Squad, where all these senators are getting shuffled to.
Wow.
So it's like, I mean, there's so much going on behind the scenes that you don't even know. This is just a small part of the story, right? That we're focused on here, but there's a lot of things happening because of that Death Star being built.
Right, and that's what I think. The only argument to be made about the, the bad guys thinking they're the good guys, or vice versa, is the only thing that sets this separate from anything else, and why it's so layered and why it endures for so long, I believe, is because, on the Empire side, the Sith, they are the Jedi. They're the ones who gave into the dark side, dark side of the Force. So that really sets up. It is about hate, pain, things like that. Whereas the Jedi are quite the opposite. But outside of that, all the players who are on either side have moral dilemmas to deal with. And they have their own. Was that necessary? Mm-hmm. But even on the side of the rebels, the rebellion, you still have people who are like, we should just take over. We should just do bad things, or whatever. And people are like, no, you really shouldn't do that. So I think that's why it's such a layered story, because you have the story of the Sith, you have the story of the Jedi, but then you have the Empire, and then you have the rebels, and then, I think that's what makes it so great. But again, this really sets up just gives you all the foundation you need to get into all that other stuff.
Yeah,
totally. It depends on how you want to approach it. But these the first 4, 5, and 6, that really gives you the foundation for everything else.
Mm-hmm. It does. You're right. It
so
totally does.
You don't have to know about Palpatine right away. You don't have to know about the Senate. You don't have to know about. It's just those little things.
It just adds to the perception of this film.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
But I think this really does set it up for like just being
like, how did that monster get in that trash compactor? Like that's a story right there.
This was seriously when I saw this for the first time.
It's scary.
As a kid, I was scared. Because especially when the compactor starts. And I'm like, oh yeah, how in the world are they going to get out of that? Like it was. This is classic. Putting your hero in a tree with nothing and just throwing rocks at them. There's no way they're going to get out of it. That just makes such a cool story. But like when this started happening, I'm like, oh my gosh, what is going on?
You felt the.
And I'm gonna throw out 2 mind-blown facts about the Death Star. Right? Guess what? The Geonosians built it.
Yeah.
Mind blown. What the heck? And then 2, Galen Erso is the reason why there's a flaw.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's
crazy.
I mean, how crazy is that? Do you feel like that makes sense to this film? Because I feel like you could have. I feel like you didn't have to. I mean, it's good to have it, but a lot of people, I think, not a lot of people, but I think there are some fans out there before Rogue One came out, or before that even became a thing, was like there was some disbelief that 2 proton torpedoes could destroy that Death Star.
It's very convenient.
Yeah, exactly. Like
very much so.
Oh yeah, there's happens to be a thermal exhaust port going straight to an unstable reactor, but you don't know it's unstable until you watch Rogue One.
Right.
I don't know. Is that something that changes the perception of what happens to Luke here?
I think honestly, to me, it just depends on,
because he still had to make it.
I still think like again as a little kid, like as an adult watching it, I'm like, yeah, it's a plot hole, But but as a little kid watching this, again, it was just the sense of he's the only person that could have done that.
Yeah.
And it shows his buying in, because when he takes away his tracking device and everything, it's just like he's letting go, and like it was going to go in no matter what, because he believes now. He truly believes everything. He does, but this is the point. That's the point where he buys in,
gives into it. Yeah.
Yeah.
He buys the stock completely. So as a little kid, but I don't know. When I saw it in Rogue One, I thought it was a cool way to explain it.
Yeah.
It was he's forced into a bad situation, but he made sure that there was a loophole that no one knew about. So, as an adult, I like the explanation for it.
Yeah.
You know, as a little kid, I do feel like like Luke was the only person who could make that shot. No one else could.
No, definitely not. No, the Force helped him.
Exactly. That's how I saw it.
Yeah.
But again, I think it's all a matter of.
Yeah, because we talked about it a lot in the show when before we even saw Rogue One that there was that rumor out there.
Yeah, I didn't think they would go with that. I thought
I didn't either. I was like,
I was
no,
surprised.
that's a little too far to think that.
but I think it's cool.
Yeah,
that they did it.
Yeah, I mean,
I think Luke definitely is in like the skinnier side of that trash compactor. I feel like the guys.
I actually love. This was hilarious.
Yeah, yeah.
The 3PO, yeah.
He's like, oh, the time.
Yeah, I know.
You know, it's just awesome. He's like, what?
Yeah. Uh-oh. Oh, boy.
Yeah. So, so before this happens,
No one else sees him.
Huh?
No one else sees an old man walking through.
All right.
Are you lost, sir? Can I help you? Can't find my car.
Just looking for a bathroom.
Sorry, this isn't the retirement home. You need to take the shuttle.
Come on, just come on this way. This way. Okay.
Yeah. That's hilarious. It's funny because later on, those troopers were talking about that gun.
The ship. Was it a ship?
I think it's a gun.
The model?
Is it a gun or is it a ship?
Can't remember.
I thought it was a weapon.
Can't remember.
I think it's a weapon because then they're talking about it in Rogue One also, right?
They'll each time they talk about different models.
Oh,
Like,
it's different models? Oh, okay.
Rogue One, they talk about like the earlier one. This one, it's the next one, and then in Force Awakens is actually a reference to a later model.
Oh, no,
And
I didn't know that.
Like, because like Sam Witwer and David Collins were the voices in the Rogue One. I think they might have been the voices in Force Awakens as well.
Yeah, I think they probably were. Yeah.
Now,
It's a T something, is
actually,
it?
if you want to talk convenience of storyline,
Yeah.
and Ben, first of all, old man walking around, nobody sees him or anything like that. But the fact that he walks out there, manually shuts off the tractor beam. No one's monitoring that.
Yeah.
No one knows like immediately. Like
Very true.
Eating their donut, watching some screens. Like
nobody's
hey,
watching the screen, going, "Wait, tractor beam just went
Yeah.
off. What happened? What happened?"
Someone go check that out.
Yeah. You got all these, but maybe not. I don't know. But
That is very
that's a
true.
little convenient.
That
Yeah.
is
It's like,
very
oop,
true.
Yeah.
Okay, no one knows.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Turn it off.
We're good. Yeah.
There's something flashing on this dash here.
Exactly.
Hey, this thing, the station's so new,
Yeah,
man. I have
yeah.
they might be looking through the manual right now.
Yeah,
Like, what is
exactly
this?
right, yeah.
Probably the only thing you can,
It's like a big, huge stack manual.
the only thing you can chalk it up to.
You got a manual for a moon-sized
Yeah.
technology. Gosh, pages are super thin.
And it seems to,
It's the cafeteria menu.
This isn't the
Oh my god!
all the different language, like 6
That is
million,
so true.
6 million
I never thought
translations.
about that. Yeah, it's like a
and the chaos really hasn't happened as far as like troopers going and searching the Death Star, but
Yeah.
nothing's really broken out. So
Yeah, because there they are. Like,
exactly,
but they're like nonchalantly walking down the
Yeah.
hallway, like,
yeah, they're not chasing anybody at this point.
and they're running away from them.
I love that. I always loved that when I was a kid, seeing Han just like okay, I'm back.
Now, what are those guys doing in there? Standing there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
You
you
know?
know, proactive. Okay, come on.
Yeah. And are they all 100 of them running after him now?
Yeah, they should.
I guess. Yeah. No, this is
Oh, easy. Ooh.
really great, iconic scene here, obviously, with them. Now, it's funny. Do you remember? Did you ever see the MythBusters on this? They tried swinging
It's been a
two
while.
bodies swinging across.
No, I didn't see that one.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Didn't work, did it?
No, it didn't work.
Yeah.
It was like there's nothing strong enough or something like that, or they couldn't even get the grappling. But it's very difficult. So like, there's no way.
That's what I love, like when people raise these little things to Pablo,
Yeah.
and you're just like, dude, I don't care. Like, why do
Yeah.
you care? It's a science fiction. Or
We don't really take physics.
Yeah,
in,
we
you know,
don't
in mind.
take it.
The one thing I'm noticing watching this, I don't know why I'm just picking up on this right now. As many times I've seen this movie.
I know what.
I mean, okay, it's convenient. He's got the belt on for the grappling hook, right?
Yeah.
But why does Han have? Why do they put the belts back on? Just for the holster? Because if you really, I mean, outside of that little move there, why does Han put it on? Han has it on too.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know what's all in it. Yeah, maybe they got other cool things.
How do they know what's a utility belt?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know.
Because outside of that, right there,
Do you
having the
see
grappling
anything else
hook,
on it?
you know, Han puts his back on too. But
Yeah.
I'm looking at it close. I'm like, what is it? It's got the holster. What?
Maybe that's it. Maybe
Do you
that's
really need a
all.
holster at this point?
They
Yeah,
never
you're carrying
holster
your
it.
gun. You're carrying
Yeah,
the gun, right?
exactly. So, I don't know.
No, that's
I just
a
noticed
good-
that. I don't know why I
that's a
just
good-
picked up on that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, why is it-
Ruined.
Why did put this
Movie's
stormtrooper
ruined.
belt back on?
That astromech
Took
right
everything
there.
else
That's
off.
cool.
I'm gonna keep the belt.
Yeah, don't forget the belt. Grab the belt.
Souvenirs.
This movie sucks now.
Yeah.
There might be
Jeez.
some. there might be- I think mine's got some crackers in it. I might need for later.
Snack.
Yeah.
So look,
Shoot.
what's Han's got his on for?
Yeah. That's cool, I guess.
He's got a holster.
Oh, boy.
That's true. I don't know. It looks cool though. Yeah, I guess. But it doesn't have the tank on the back, does it? I don't think it has the
No.
tank. Yeah, little tank.
Yeah, how long has he been waiting there? I hope he walks through this hallway. This is a huge state battle
I
station.
know he's got to come
I
right here.
hope he walks through this hallway.
Yeah. See, they improved these sabers a little
Yeah.
bit better, but
I always thought that was a weird angle that Ben's
saber came
saber
out.
came out.
Yeah.
Looked a little like psh, kind of went. I mean, I guess
Batteries are low. It's slow coming out.
Now again, I'm sure
He's
as
like,
all of us,
yeah.
as kids watching this, it's like, what the heck? Laser swords, you know? It's
Yeah.
like, this is awesome.
oh yeah,
But now, it's a very underwhelming fight. I mean,
Oh,
it
yeah.
means a lot.
right.
It's, it's two old guys going at
Right.
it.
Yeah.
Especially now.
But again, with your knowledge, all of
Totally.
our knowledge, it makes it an underwhelming scene. But the first time you see it, it's pretty awesome.
I know. I totally get it.
And of course, now they try to explain these kind of things where true swordsmen, like samurai films, they're not flashy.
They're not.
Like they just do a few moves here and there, and that's it. And fight's over. Someone, you're just so
Right.
good you can anticipate movement and you parry it. And
Yeah, because
Done.
even with the prequels, you got Grievous and you got Yoda flying around.
Yeah.
And this is, if you see all that stuff at first, you're like, what are they
Yeah.
doing?
And
Vader's a better
yeah.
fighter than that.
Yeah.
So
And that's kind of
Totally.
that's kind of what they
another
do.
argument to make sure that Jake sees this first.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, I know. So he's like not underwhelmed by it.
Yeah, come on. There's reasons behind this.
But I did see there's a YouTube video of this fight, and what they did was they just double speeded it, and it looks
better.
a lot better because
Yeah.
they're a little faster.
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem like they just seem like they're moving a little quicker,
Yeah.
right? It,
Yeah.
it works really well. So
Cool.
I don't
And
know.
again, if you see the fight, if you see the prequels and you see the fight between Anakin and Obi-Wan, it's like they'd be going all over the place
Yeah.
at this point.
Oh,
Jumping
totally.
off
Right?
walls.
But
Yeah,
but they give it a
but
can't at this
throwing
point either. You know,
things.
what I mean,
Yeah, I guess they can't. But
because the question is too, Obi-Wan, like, is he truly as powerful, or did he lose some of his power a little bit? You know, it's like,
yeah, this freaked me
well-
out. This is awful to see as a kid.
yeah.
Now, what I will say about it, I don't think Obi-Wan's less powerful, but kind of going to the mall and Obi-Wan fighting rebels, I think Obi-Wan is just escalated to that level, that high level now. They don't need to be flashy.
They don't.
And
Yeah,
that's the
I
thing.
agree.
Like, is he even trying though to kill Vader? He's just trying to
True.
keep him at bay, until everybody gets away. He's obviously self-sacrificing, but I don't think like him and Vader. I don't think Vader would ever get into a crazy fight like that. I don't know anymore. I think
Yeah.
they're both just at that level where they don't have to do it. Less is more.
Well, one thing, and maybe this is explained somewhere in novelization or whatever, but as far as Ben being struck down by Vader, how come that's the only time ever you've seen someone completely disappear from one strike? I mean, even when Maul, he was cut in half.
Totally.
Went right through him, but he went half. Didn't cut him.
Well,
in half.
Qui-Gon didn't disappear, and that's where I
he
started.
just
Didn't
like,
head
what
chop
happened?
off
and that's the
disappear.
first. That was the
Right.
first
Yeah.
reaction I had with Qui-Gon died when he got stabbed, and he didn't disappear. I was like, "What's going on? Why didn't he
Right.
disappear?"
I don't know if that's ever explained or not. They just
It is explained.
Okay.
It's explained at the kind of first explained in the Clone Wars, the Lost Missions where Yoda gets told to go train. Did you ever see that? The Lost Missions?
That's the one.
The Clone Wars?
I've seen all the Clone Wars.
So the last season, Yoda, there's 2 episodes where he goes and basically Qui-Gon sends him to this, I can't remember what it's called, this planet where the the prophets are or something like that. Is it the prophets?
Yeah.
And basically he teaches, he has to train himself, teach himself, and he has to fight the dark side of himself. Awesome episodes. But through that, he learns to maintain his essence after he's gone. Qui-Gon almost got there, but he didn't.
Ah, gotcha. Okay.
So that's why when Yoda at the end of 3 is like, I communed with Qui-Gon, training I have for you. So this whole 19 years, Obi-Wan's been training how to get that connection once he's gone. So he knew that was going to happen to himself. And obviously when Yoda dies, he has accomplished that as well. So technically, now, what I don't know is how Anakin did it.
Right.
And people have explained, well, maybe it's because you are redeemed. When you're redeemed, you kind of
there could be an exception.
That. There's something there,
he's the chosen one,
or Obi-Wan and Yoda kind of pulled him when he died.
Right.
I don't know.
Right.
But they are true. Technically, all we know right now, they are the only 3 Force ghosts.
Yeah, if you're become one with the Force, if you become part of the living Force, your body literally transcends physically. So,
but it's crazy to think that, like, when you watch episode 1 after these films, you're like, okay, well, all these guys are going to be Force ghosts,
right?
But they're not. Because then you would think, like, where are they all at? But no, there's no essence. They don't even know about it. I don't think, or maybe they know about it, but they don't know how to achieve it.
It seemed like to me that they didn't know about it. Like Yoda didn't know about it.
Yeah,
like
somehow Qui-Gon.
They believe in the afterlife. Like
yes.
Your spirit will live on, but not into the level of Force Ghost.
Well,
right.
Yeah. Well, I don't really see that as a flaw necessarily.
Sure.
I do see it as he is that powerful, so he it's going to be different for him. Type of thing, sacrificing himself in that manner. So, but I just wondered if it was ever addressed as far as why that happened, because it's a pretty obvious difference from anybody else being hit by a lightsaber. So,
as a kid watching these movies growing up, Corey and I, we kept trying to explain it ourselves. Like maybe it's the way that they're struck, and maybe that they'd be struck down a certain way or whatever. But it wasn't until just reading about it and. The EU kind of had their own explanation for that, becoming one with the Force and whatnot. But it wasn't really until Episode 3, hearing about Qui-Gon talking to Yoda in the novelization, and then Clone Wars really solidified that.
But I think this makes another case for watching this first, is that if that's the first time we see someone get
it's
taken down by a lightsaber, so you automatically assume that's what happens.
Yeah.
So when it doesn't happen later on, then you start to question it a little bit. But at this point in the story, if you don't know anything, it's like, oh, geez, that's what happens.
Right.
It's just going to take you out completely. So you don't really question it going in, because if you did, you might have a lot of questions that if you've seen everything else and knew everything else beforehand, it's like, well, no one else died. Why did that happen?
Right.
To him, so. I'm gonna make my case.
Yeah,
everyone's gonna watch four
great.
First.
I mean,
just takes me 2 hours.
Tell me.
That's all.
Yeah,
I mean, can't do it in 5 minutes.
Yeah. I'm real stoked to. I'm actually real stoked to see Yavin and Rebels.
Yeah, see the last season of Rebels.
Yeah, that's
cool.
them establishing the base.
Yeah.
How close
are they? You think someone's? Didn't you say you think Dodonna's already there?
I thought I saw him.
Okay,
maybe I saw him. I think we see him in the trailer or like an image. Pretty sure
they're already there.
He's mentioned in season 3.
Yes,
he was mentioned in his squadron.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure we get him, but it just matters how time span of season 4. If it leads right up to Rogue One, who knows? Would be cool.
Yeah.
A note on the comics itself. I mean, obviously, the Ballad of Yavin is a very important, linchpin in the whole rebellion. But the comics always refer back to that, and it's always a jumping off point for a lot of the storylines where they're going, how it relates back to that. So Yavin's always been it'd be cool to see that.
Yes.
Come back in, because anything past this, obviously it's a linchpin for the whole story. So
And I feel like with this now, we're more inside the hangar than we were in Rogue One. It was kind of like right outside the hangar, so it was a little different area. We're inside more, but this Rogue One, I can't express enough how awesome they rebuilt that set inside.
Oh yeah,
Kept
kept
the
the
outdated
stuff. Yeah,
graphics.
it's
Oh
awesome.
man, which is actually kind of wrong. You see where the thing is, kind of, I guess. If you,
These plans are outdated.
yeah, it was kind of the first generation plans. Yeah,
Well, they're working 8-bit, Dave.
I know,
You
totally,
don't have-
totally
They
8-bit.
can't move it all the way up.
Totally.
Into like,
That's tough.
they don't have that plane to
Hours
work on.
of coding there.
That's right. Yeah.
I do want to point this out because I think it's kind of important as they analyze the plans here. But I often question. I don't know if you guys do, but I often kind of thought about when right then. Well, not just then, but like in episode 1, when the ship, at the very beginning, when they pan down from the crawl, the ship that's approaching the blockade. It's like, okay, so the blockade is at that point blocking the planet. Like, well, why didn't they just come out of hyperspace on the backside?
Other side.
Right?
So I don't know about hyperspace lanes if it's
Well,
certain.
that's it. No, that's it.
That's it,
Hyperspace
yeah.
lanes. There's hyperspace lanes.
Yeah.
So that's where you come out of hyperspace.
have to come
You
out
have
there.
to come out at that point. So it's like the Death Star, because it's like you can say the same thing there. Well, why didn't they just come out of
Yeah.
hyperspace on the other side and just
Yeah.
done?
Right.
But they had that lane came to that point where they had to then get into orbit to go around. So it bought them some time, right? So
Also, I wish they had charged it before they made the trip. I don't know. Charged the weapon before they made the trip. I don't know, but make
no, it's
they
not
have
charged.
to.
They have to clear the planet in order to shoot it.
So, but it's already charged, is what you're saying, though? It's already like
Yeah, it's
weapons
ready to
primed,
go.
Ready to go.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't think they have to charge. They don't have to charge that weapon. I don't think, do they?
The Death Star.
Yeah, the Death Star. I don't think it has to be charged.
Because
The-
there's a limit.
Starkiller Base had to.
Well,
but-
there is like a you can't. They just keep firing. Like it has to build up.
Oh,
That's why the
I don't
Death
know if I
Star
ever
2
knew
has a
that.
shorter time span.
Oh,
They can
okay.
shoot like every 3 minutes.
See
or
now,
something like
they got to wait like 30 minutes
They got
before.
unstable reactors.
Yeah, no, yeah,
That's
that's true.
unstable. Yeah, it is unstable. Yeah,
It's got
totally.
to build up.
Maybe that's what Galen did too. Made sure
Yeah.
only 30-minute time
Yeah,
time
exactly.
frames. That's it.
Can't just
Just
keep firing.
buy him some time.
Yeah.
People off, get away. So
Actually, if you go back to that graphic when they analyze
Yeah.
the plans, talking about the proton torpedoes. If you look at how fast the ship would be going and the angle of the torpedoes go whoop, like straight
Yeah,
down,
right,
yeah.
yeah.
It seems pretty impractical, improbable. that
yeah, and
that
then
would happen.
but they actually are shooting them
yeah,
before
exactly.
they drop.
so they just
Yeah.
drop.
Yeah.
So
Now, how awesome
heavy.
would it be to? Would you be okay? Would you be okay with in that briefing room right there? A digital like
I know. You're saying.
Hera or something like that, or Zeb?
I would see. I'd be able to
That
see
would be
Zeb
cool.
That would be awesome.
That'd be so cool. Yeah.
doing some stuff. Yeah.
But who knows what Ghost is doing?
We know, but I mean, they survived. At least we
Yeah.
know, kind of, right?
Yeah,
We never
they
saw them.
should've
I don't think we saw
survived.
them leave technically, but they were.
But they weren't there. They weren't there when Vader approached.
Yes.
When his
Yeah.
Star Destroyer came.
They should have put one of those characters in. I mean, they put Chopper in obviously
Yeah.
They did.
quickly, but they should have.
They should've.
put Hera. They should have
Yeah,
put
they said her name.
Zeb.
Just have her walk.
They said her
around.
name. Did
Yeah.
you catch that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just walk her, having the
That'd be
background.
cool to see
walk
Zeb
around.
like walking.
Just the
background.
back of her.
Yeah.
Just the back.
Just
of her.
talking about a ship, about
Yes.
the ghosts. Like,
Mhm.
just
I mean, you have the
conversation.
ghost sitting right there.
Yeah.
It's like, oh man, that's so.
Yeah, that
cool.
would've been cool.
That's so cool. Or right now, if there's a digital like someone right there, like there's Hera
Yeah.
walking back there or something,
Yeah.
it's like ah. Oh, that'd be so cool. And poor Biggs.
Yeah.
I wish they would actually. I never Biggs. I like that scene, the Tashi Station.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really do like that scene where he's with his friends and they're off doing their thing.
Yeah.
He can't be. I love that scene. I wish they would put that back in there.
I wonder if we'll see, Rebel season 4. I wonder if we'll see more of these characters like Biggs.
Yeah.
I would think we. I think we.
I think
That'd
we
be cool.
would.
Yeah.
I'd be up for that.
Yeah, see that's Red Leader, right? That was in. They used his footage in Rogue One.
So clever.
Yeah.
Oh, I just can't
So
get
such a
over
good
that.
That really blew me away watching
Yeah.
the movie and seeing that. Like that was really cool. And that scene always looked weird, because it cut
Person-
right there,
well, that
with
guy-
him walking away in the original cut.
Yeah, this is one, going back to my record that I played, when they're all calling out formation and everything.
Yeah.
It's like that just it fried in my brain, you know. All those call signals, it's like,
Yeah.
You wouldn't want my life to get boring, would you?
So can you name, like, because again, me getting ready for this battle, my perception of this battle has completely changed now that I've read Inferno Squad, and of course Rogue One has changed it a little bit too, because most of these fighters, even though they didn't go against the Death Star, they saw it. They saw this massive thing show up outside of Scarif. So thinking back as we get in this final battle, Russ, what can you think of anything what has changed your perspective of this movie in other stories or other things that's really different? Be it Rogue One or be it Vader comic or anything like that. I don't know. It's like like even Leia, like her being in Rebels a little bit, and there's so much that she's done that you don't get obviously just by watching this. Her history a little bit more with this.
there's nothing that really dramatically alters outside of just knowing all backstories and stuff like that. I mean, it does change my perception. Again, Vader's not the same Vader he was when I first saw him, and you're right, even this changes a little bit because this is not like the first time seeing this thing.
Right.
Maybe up close, or having to go through the run or anything like that and actually attacking the Death Star. That's a totally different thing. But they're like, oh gosh, what's going on here? It's a little different seeing Rogue One, having known that those guys were there when the plans were stolen. So,
and see, it's pretty neat. Think about it, like Wedge. That is the first time Wedge has seen it.
Yeah.
Because Wedge wasn't in Rogue One, so it's like,
of that thing.
look at the size of that thing. Yeah, Gold Leader again. Didn't I just do this?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Days ago. And like poor Red 5, the
Red
original
5,
Red 5. Like,
that's
Red
right.
5, standing by.
it's like they just had a new ship. It's like, I'll just give him Red 5's number. He's not around anymore, unfortunately.
Yeah, Luke,
so
Red 5. I think we lost Red 5.
Just,
Yep.
Just like, a couple days ago.
yeah.
Is that what it's been? I guess it's been a couple days,
Probably
right?
like this, so.
Yeah, that's been long.
No, it hasn't,
that.
right?
I mean, you think from the time when they get Luke and Obi-Wan, Millennium Falcon, they secure it. And it's like
The longest
they're
time
immediate.
was
I mean, it's
spent
really
there.
outside of other storylines that were going on. They're pretty much on the Death Star pretty quickly.
Yeah.
It's not like they
Yeah, there's
went for days and days and days before they ever got caught or anything like
it
that.
was like one night. We saw one night on Tatooine.
Yeah,
that,
exactly.
so-
Mhm.
Yeah, 2 days.
See, this is cool. Look, get the cruiser fighter. So that's Iden.
Oh, yeah.
So Iden's going to a TIE fighter right now and getting ready to come out there. But no, another thing I forgot to mention was, man, the Bloodline book
Yeah.
mentions about her on the Death Star. She describes her
that's right.
time with Vader. Like, Vader interrogates her, like, painfully, to the point where she's begging to die. So, again, you don't know that, by just watching this, because she looks like the same as she is when she's captured.
She looks great.
But she is tortured because they're trying to find where the rebel base is, and it doesn't really describe it fully, but the interrogation droid is just, basically killing her almost, and it's dark. And it was I was very surprised to read that in Bloodline.
In one of the novelizations of this movie, it was like the young adult version where it's retitled as a scoundrel farm boy and a princess.
Yes.
Something like
Yeah.
that book.
Yeah.
I started listening to the audiobook of that, and it's really short, really quick, and they go into a little bit.
right there.
Like, yeah, got him. And
She
they
does
go-
shoot.
yeah.
She shoots down a couple of them.
It's pretty fast. But they go into a little bit of Leia being interrogated in that scene. And they actually, I don't know how I guess the entire thing is canon. It doesn't say Legends on it, so I don't know. But
It's canon. No, it's canon.
they added a scene where Leia tries to escape her cell, and she succeeds a little bit, but then she gets caught and put back in her cell.
Wow, that's
So
cool.
it is cool, like things you don't know. I don't know, just by these other little stories. And filling in those gaps. It's great.
It is filling in those gaps really good. I see none of these are Iden because obviously they die. So
Does she fly just normal TIE fighter?
all these are just normal TIE fighters, and she's not the leader of the squadron. There's a squad leader. Because it's funny because Iden's mentioning, I'm not giving anything away because this is really the first chapter of the book, but Iden, while she's flying around shooting fighters down, she notices this other group that's going in the trench, and she's like, "What are they?" She's thinking to herself,
Idiots.
"What are they doing?" And she thinks to tell her commander, but over the intercom, the commander says, "Don't worry about the fighters separating from the big group. We're staying on the group. Lord Vader is going after the other group or whatever." She's like, "Why is Lord Vader coming out here?" You know, it's really cool. But see, what happens is that's kind of what happens is the TIE fighters or the X-wings are going away from the Y-wings because they're trying to draw their fire, right? So they're starting to fly away as the Y-wings are going down. They call this the Miranda Trench. So they're going down, not knowing obviously what they're doing. They don't know.
Yeah.
They have no idea what they're doing. But
Why are these guys flying to us?
but they do. What's weird is that they actually do figure out afterwards what happened. They somehow they figure it out or discover that Galen Erso did put the flaw in. So the Empire knows that this wasn't just a random thing. That there was actually
It's the
unstable reactor.
Death Star black box.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking. Like,
Huge.
what did Galen send him an email afterwards? You know, like
What the heck was Vader doing there?
Yeah, he's-
What knob is he twisting?
Yeah.
I never
What's this
understood
do?
that. It's like,
Yeah.
breaking it down.
yeah,
Torque. Torque.
yeah.
Let's take him out. Oh. It's like that line right there. That line's on that game that I was talking about. That toy I had. Stay on target.
Stay on target?
So
Yeah.
that's always just how he says it. You can't shake him like those little lines.
Did he
as well.
he bailed out of the trench? Didn't he? Yeah, he bailed out of the
Yeah,
trench.
Vader-
He was like, I'm
Vader
out.
gets him.
Yeah,
Screw this.
I love this reaction by him. He's like,
I'm sorry.
that's awesome. I love that.
Well, outside of Alec Guinness, I mean, Peter Cushing.
Peter
is
Cushing. Oh gosh, yeah,
amazing actor. you know.
absolutely. Yeah,
Looks
them
like
two
a
by
bad guy.
far were, and they were front build. I think they, it was
Yeah.
it was Alec Guinness, Peter Cushing, and then the other ones.
Anybody,
But
other guys. He is all over the place. It looks like. I mean, if you look at the horizon behind him, he's just all back and forth.
I do feel like a lot of people are against me on this, but I do feel like they truly did improve the CG and the special effects of this fight because there were a lot of rough shots in the original, like a lot of ones that are just pure model. You can tell, they were pure models. But they did it in the places that needed it. I feel like there's still original stuff like that in there, but
Just hold them off for a few seconds.
Okay.
meaning hold on, just don't die as fast. Basically, is what he's saying.
Yeah.
Right.
Hold them off, just.
Oh. Hi. He missed. He was right in the center.
Yeah,
It's just, I said, well, his targeting computer has
locked them on.
Locked
yeah.
him on. All of a sudden, he goes, he's got to fire towards it. Like, wait a minute. You got to build
Not
up
very-
to it.
That's why
It's like right in front of you, man.
The accuracy. You just missed their
Exactly,
scopes, man.
exactly.
You gotta, don't
His
touch
scope-
the dials.
Scope is off.
He could have been such the
Yeah.
hero.
Yeah. He's already celebrating. Yeah.
I know.
Oh, wait. Dang it.
Didn't go in.
Dang it!
Just go straight down then. Just go up. And go
He
straight
didn't
down.
practice that much in his T16.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like,
Bullseye and wall rats.
it's like when we play the Battlefront game. What we would have done is we just would have gone straight up. We would go straight down and just shoot into that exhaust port.
Yes.
Come on, man.
Yeah, like it's like why even go down the trench?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Me too.
Just fly on top
straight down.
over it and then just.
Yeah.
I mean, no, but I think a lot of obviously Wedge survives, but a lot of the X-wings get shot down in this battle. Wedge, man, he's got. I don't know. He's like destined to die somewhere by himself doing something else. 'Cause that guy survives everything. It's crazy. Did you have any sense at all that Han was going to come back?
No,
when you were watching
not
this
at all.
at all?
Not at all. I
Yeah.
had no idea. I mean, I figured when Obi-Wan's talking to him and he's trying to get us, he's like, "Oh wait, everything's throwing me off." I had no idea Han was going to come out.
That was a huge surprise. For me
yeah.
too,
And
I
that,
remember.
that's what made him again. It's about up to this point. You pretty much see Han as he's doing it for he's getting paid.
Yes.
You know, he's doing a couple good things here and there, but this is like where he becomes okay. Now he's part of it, and you don't want to see him go anywhere.
Yeah.
Because he does just kind of disappear.
And if you really think about it, how the heck did he find them?
Well, you just come back.
On the- you know what I
I'll
mean?
turn around. And he
Like if
comes
he's
like
coming on his own, he's
Yeah.
like, "Oh my god, where do I even start?"
Just kidding. Yeah. How does he know where they are in the huge moon-sized battle station?
Yeah, that's
I guess he can
hilarious.
barely see the blasters or whatever.
There they are. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
what the? That's good. But very tense, very
Yeah, the music
intense
too.
here.
Oh, he got
Yeah. He just fell
Fly
to the
straight.
wall.
Easy.
Yeah.
Oh, Biggs. Oh, Biggs. Oh, Biggs. Oh, man. No.
I'm on the leader.
Yeah, just the thought of, again, man, just not knowing anything else. And, that's his son. He's about to shoot his son,
Yeah.
But that does, I kind of on the flip side, if you know,
Yeah.
it's like, we know Vader doesn't know, but it's like, man, you're behind your son right now. How crazy is that?
And that's the thing. Like, if you do watch it in chronological order, you do. I feel get that tragic hero side of the story where if you go with the moments where you see Vader for the first time in Revenge of the Sith, then there's a huge jump. You see him in Rebels, and he's already this horrible, murdering Sith, and you think like, oh my gosh, like. He's no longer the Anakin that I knew, and then you see him in in Rogue One, that solidifies that even more than now here. So, there is something you gain, but there's something you lose when you watch it chronologically.
Right. I agree.
Oh, that's it. We're gonna die.
That's it.
Sorry, good knowing you guys.
I could have left like 20 minutes
Yeah,
ago,
no.
but I didn't.
I know. Could have evacuated the
Yeah.
entire planet.
Yeah, I could have just evacuated. Everybody could have survived, but we just waited.
I was hanging
See?
in there. Yeah, he's
Still twisting stuff?
He's messing it up. Just don't touch
Is
it.
he tweaking it in? What's
Yeah.
he doing?
He's trying to find his radio station.
Obviously doesn't work.
He can only fly to certain music, and he can't find it.
Yeah.
What?
What?
Yeah, love it.
Dude, easy. He just panicked.
Yeah, he did
could've
just
gone
panic.
straight up.
Yeah, he did. He did panic.
Over.
So he uses the Force
Yes.
because there's been some questions about that with some people. I think they're like, he just got lucky, or did he
know
actually
the timing?
use the Force
Yeah, to know the time.
to make it go down there?
Whew. Instant death. Just
Instant.
horrible.
Now it's really neat. Again, that's not a spoiler because I'm pretty sure it's not a spoiler. It's just chapter 1. But see, Iden at this point she was following this X-wing as they were trying to retreat back to Yavin. So when all of a sudden there's this huge flash, her first instinct was that Yavin got destroyed.
Yeah.
Like the Death Star shot and destroyed
Right.
Yavin. And then all of a sudden,
Just turn around.
when she well, she sees this flash, and then she's like, because she's pointing towards Yavin, the flash comes, so she thinks it's coming from there. But then when she finally comes to, she's getting approached by all this debris, but she starts realizing that it's Death Star debris, not planet debris, and she's like freaking out, and she crash lands on Yavin. And she has to like secretly make her way, and I think she actually hitchhikes secretly on a cargo ship from the rebellion to get off world or whatever. It's like I don't know how long it took for them to evacuate Yavin because they know they're on Yavin now. The Empire does anyway, but they have enough time to get a ceremony in before they leave.
Yeah.
Oh, this was the
Because at this point, there could have been like 20 Star Destroyers show up, right?
Yeah.
And like start bombarding from because they do that. They land bombard from the sky, and it's like, I don't know.
Right, but at this point, again,
They think it's over.
The first time you see it, you don't know that there's more out there. You think
That's true.
Vader's the only one left.
Yeah.
That's true.
You don't know anything else because everybody was on that Death Star, weren't they? So the fact that it gets blown up
That's very true.
just makes it like, oh wait, it's even bigger. Yeah. You know, it's a bigger thing
I think
going on.
it's an entire galaxy.
well,
so.
and technically, if the movie didn't do well, this could have been it. This could have been the
yeah,
end.
you could have ended
Like,
on this.
They survive. They beat the Empire. They're the good guys now. You know, it's like they're the because it is kind of an ending. It is an ending to this movie, not necessarily the entire story, but it doesn't. It's not like Empire where it completely leaves it open.
Right, exactly. Yeah,
But
Empire definitely leaves you hanging, but
Yeah.
you know, this one, again, seeing as a little kid, I was moved by this whole thing.
Yeah.
You see him come out, and it's just like turn around and
Yeah.
just cheering. The music it was just powerful,
Uh-huh.
especially when R2 if he got shot. It's clean again, clean him up nice.
Yeah.
Always
So
cleans up nice.
He doesn't remember anything, but he's good.
Yeah.
he's cleaned up though.
I just got to throw out there. There's a very clever.
Chewbacca doesn't have a medal.
There's a very clever YouTube video where a guy takes this scene, gets rid of the music, and then replaces all the audio of like
Quiet?
natural audio. It's basically how this would have really
That is
occurred
awesome. Yes.
in real life. Like, so it's the footsteps, it's the quiet room
Right.
People
ambiance,
coughing.
sneezing in the background, the leather sounds of the movie, the sound of
Yes.
the skin on the teeth when they smile. It's so awkward,
It is.
and it's
You gotta
hilarious.
see it. It is so awkward. Yes, check that out. Search that on YouTube.
It's just search
It is
Star
hilarious.
Wars minus John Williams or something
Okay,
like that.
yeah.
YouTube that, and then
Yep.
it's
It just goes.
so clever.
It
It
is
goes
very
to
clever.
prove the point of how important music is
Yeah.
to movies.
Oh my gosh, it is. But it's fun. It's
'Cause
so
like,
funny.
like that. What I think
Yeah,
that's how it really is when they realistically the
Charlie
sound
actually
would be.
filmed it.
Yeah,
We're just standing
it's
there,
like
like-
awkward. Like there's no band there playing music, so
Not that we know of,
so
right?
quiet
Yeah.
and awkward. Like I don't even know what's going on.
Why
up
is this
there.
guy smiling as
Yeah.
he's coming down
Yeah.
the? Yeah. It's like,
No, it is the best.
it is. I forgot about that.
We'll have
That
to
is
watch
good.
it when we're done here.
But what about Chewbacca not getting a medal?
I know what?
That's
in the
kind of busted.
world?
That is busted.
That is busted. He
Again,
needs to have one.
the guy that redid it, he put a medal
They
on
should put.
Chewbacca.
Yeah.
Chewbacca should
They
have got a
should
medal.
They should
for
have got a
sure.
medal. He definitely should have got a medal. Yes.
Wow.
Okay. Any final thoughts as we watch the credits here? Final thoughts on Star Wars episode? Now, okay. Well, not just final thoughts, but do your final thoughts. But then we'll something that I probably should have prepared you for.
Yeah.
but
Oh gosh.
Where does episode 4 rank in all the movies now that are
Oh
out?
well, yeah. I haven't
All
done a ranking.
8.
I haven't done a ranking since. Well, we did a ranking a while back,
A while back,
Right.
Yeah.
but it was just
while
it
back.
was just it was just a 4, 5, and 6.
Correct.
Um,
So anyway, but before that, final thoughts on the movie itself. I mean, obviously, I don't know if we have to go there because we just went through a lot of the stuff for it. But
I mean,
ranking
the movie,
wise,
it's just I don't know. There's very few movies from my childhood that I can still watch today and still get enjoyment out of.
can you
Whether it
even
be plot holes or
Yeah.
things like that, but just having that this movie still be what it is, it still holds up for
Can
me.
you
It's
even-
not like I watch. There's a lot of movies I watched from a kid, like, oh god,
Yeah.
why did I like that?
Yeah.
This still maintains what it meant to me back then, and the fact that my 2 youngest boys. I don't say, hey, you're gonna sit down and watch this with me. They actually prompt me. Hey, you watch Star Wars? And it's really cool. And I told you this when we first had our podcast, when Disney was buying Lucasfilm. I was like, my whole thing in my head was that I can enjoy Star Wars again through the eyes of my children.
Yeah.
And when I do watch it with them, I still see in them what I saw. So it's really cool for me. I'm sure you'll get the same
Yeah.
experience, and I'm sure you have as well. It's just
Yeah.
kind of cool to
Yeah.
to
Oh,
see
looking
that
forward to
through
that.
your children and just have that kind of live on. So I don't know. It's like I say, it still holds up for me. I love it.
yeah.
Absolutely. I definitely still think it holds up. And kind of what I've always done is defending aspects of the changes for the special editions is, I don't want Star Wars to become a laughing stock of like a movie. I don't want it to look and feel outdated. Some of it still does, obviously. You can't fix everything. But I think with the restoration, with a lot of the color changes and, sound design fixes and adding a little bit things here and there to kind of make it appeal more vibrant and more like what other special effects sci-fi kind of movies are today, I think it has helped Star Wars still be a contender with other blockbuster movies out there.
Yeah.
I think otherwise you'd get, of course I'm going to not hate on Star Trek, but like the original Star Trek movie or like the original TV show Star Trek. It's outdated. It looks outdated, even though it's still good in its own right. I'm sure people would fight for that, but you can still see the zipper of like certain creatures, or like you can still tell it's a model.
Right.
They didn't replace anything to make it look current. So I'm glad that Lucas had the foresight to keep it fresh looking, so that we could still watch it and the new generations can still watch it and enjoy it and not feel like it's an old movie.
Right. And I guess another one of the thought is that the reason why it holds up so well, again, it all goes back to just the basics of any good movie, or it's story.
Correct.
First and foremost.
Very much so.
Because the effects can be changed, tweaked, things like that, but the story still holds up. Sure. The story's still about, finding a new hope for this whole thing. And that's what the original trilogy does. I mean, it's all about redemption. It's all about, it just holds up as a story.
You're right.
The story is first and foremost. And
Absolutely.
I think that's what makes it not a laughing stock necessarily, because you can hate on weird effects or things that are weird, but come on, no offense to Star Trek fans, but the original TV series has some pretty hokey storylines.
Yeah.
So the effects don't help.
But
the story's not great. I don't mean the entire Star Trek series, but just some storylines, they're just not there. So that's why I think it is what it is.
Yeah.
So, where does Episode 4 rank in your 8 Star Wars film?
Well, I'm still gonna just because I'm older and it made such an impact on me as a child. The original trilogy is always going to be the top 3, and it's still going to be the same. It's still going to be Empire first, my favorite, A New Hope, and then Jedi. But after that, so New Hope is like 2.
Yeah, wow.
2 of 8, but
that's crazy. I don't know if that's. Actually, probably a lot of fans are like that. Maybe.
Again, this is my perspective as
totally
when I saw it. Much more so than how I saw it or anything like that or whatever. But to me, it just made such a big impact on me, because that was there are certain. I've told you this many times. There are certain films that I still hold up, and they made an impact on me. Not just it was a good film, but it really, really stuck with me for whatever reason.
Right.
And there are very few movies I have in my catalog that do that. Clockwork Orange was one that really just shook me to my core. As a film.
Yeah.
And the story did too. So that really just stuck with me. And the original trilogy really did that for me, because that was and you'll find out too that when you're a kid, having kids, you can see when they start to get emotionally invested into films.
Correct.
Movies they're watching now, like my kids, they don't get emotionally invested in Star Wars. They like R2-D2, they like Jabba the Hutt, they like Boba Fett, or whatever. They like those individual characters. They don't really get invested in the story. But at 9 years old, I think anywhere from like really 7 moving forward, I was emotionally invested in that. When they came out as the scene we're making fun of at the end, when we were really quiet, it was real.
Yeah.
I was just like almost in tears when I saw them come out, because it was just like, oh my gosh, they did it. You had that kind of emotional impact on me when it happened. So that's why they'll always remain up there.
I agree.
For me.
Yeah.
It's not going to change. Again, I can see it through my kids, and hopefully maybe it'll be episode 8 for them. Or episode 7 or 8 or 9 that really hits them for the first time, because they're still
Yeah.
I think episode 9. My oldest boy might be same age I am, or when I watched this. So,
Well, Case.
This one is, and this used to be high up for me.
Yeah, I know.
It did. Right now though, it's number 6 out of 8 for me.
It's number 6 for me too. Actually, yeah. I surprised everybody. I think I got Rogue One number 2.
Interesting.
We talked about that last Rogue One commentary. You can check that out. Yeah. But yeah, I have Empire and then Rogue One because I think Rogue One was a huge surprise for me. It was so well done. It brought me back that feeling of A New Hope so it's so well done. I watched it again after we did the commentary. I watched it again on my own, and God, it's such a good movie. It's really good. So, but this is really good though too. I mean, I struggle with this movie honestly because the story, like you said, the story is there. Honestly, there's a couple visual effects stuff that kind of still bother me a little bit that I wish they would fix. I don't know, but obviously that's just me, and so I can move this probably anywhere between 5, 6, 4, 5, and 6. On my list. But right now it's still behind.
I mean, out of all the movies that were made after the first 3, I would put Rogue One as number 1.
Yeah.
Of all the new movies for me.
Yeah.
And that would probably be Rogue One. Probably say episode 7.
Yeah.
And then Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
And Phantom Menace, and then Clones.
Yeah, I think Clones
that would be
consensually been the last.
Yeah, but I would definitely put Rogue One as my number 1 of all the movies after the first 3.
Totally, I agree.
For sure.
I agree.
Cool.
Well, thanks everybody for watching. If this is beyond the month of September, check out our next commentary, which is episode 5. The Empire Strikes Back with guest Chad Perkins.
Yeah.
He's going to be in the hot seat here for that. Right now he's in the hot seat for that. Maybe I don't know. It's out or not. I don't know. It's hard to do these things.
Time is weird.
But we're doing our journey to Star Wars: The Last Jedi. This is the month of September. We're releasing Rogue One in episode 4, episode 5. Out in October, episode 6 in November, and episode 7 will be in December before episode 8 comes out. So we're doing all the commentaries leading up to episode 8. So thanks guys for checking us out. InsideTheForce.com for everything. Our weekly podcast, reviews from Russ here on the comics. More coming. We got all kinds of stuff we're putting up there. Russ is at Director421 on Twitter. Give him a follow right there. Kryptonian1138. I'm DCottingham21. Of course, Inside the Force on all your social media channels. Check us out. Thanks for being with us. Thanks, Russ, for checking out and being here.
Thanks for having me. It was awesome. Love it.
This is great. Thanks, Case.
Thank you. Goodbye, everybody.
For us, Case.
See ya.
I'm Dave. May the Force be with you.